Peace, y'all. What up, y'all? It's your boy Killer B. Dog always fine in general. Got a wait till I burn the asses up. We got a good show for y'all today. We got Siberius The Sleeping Serpent joining me here. Let's let me get that here right back. Let me drop that link. Siberius. Wait. What's wrong over there? What's wrong over there?
That little white speck on the top of chicken shit. That little white speck is chicken shit too.
Been cooling. Who you think fooling? Your impeachment gets a ruling and that good feeling. We keep it moving while you stooges YouTubing. Instead of cruising, more than bruising. Been cooling. Who you think you're fooling? Your impeachment gets a ruling and that good ruling. We keep it while you stooges YouTubing. Instead of cruising, more than bruising. Rock the beat like a country, man. Put away your contraband, your all religion brand. We've been chilling in this being y'all is all in all. The cats apart, introduce you to nothing at all. Filled with colors like a ball. She almost gave birth in a storm. A lot of us is written off while the crackers playing golf. What up, boss? Got to be a boss. Zip up my cross. Found whack cats underneath social media beats. Got my people thinking weak. Been writing since Hannibal was fighting. Burn your Percy Jackson up with lightning. We the carbon, too many Euro stepping hardens. Emblem lights, yeah, ass garden. My skills as the trumpets harping. See my heart, Steve Sergeant. Y'all religion got retarded. Got retarded. Been cooling. Who you think you fooling? Your impeachment gets a ruling and that good schooling. We keep it moving while you stooges YouTubing. Instead of cruising for the bruising. Been cooling. Who you think you fooling? Your impeachment gets a ruling and that good schooling. We keep it moving while you stooges YouTubing. Instead of cruising for the bruising. Now you wanna feel. Stop my fault. The teacher got you locked in the queue, but now I lose and gain all the proof. More metaphysics than the LSD prescription. Wonder when you listen. Sat with Yeshua discussing pen and how to write a better Zen. Found my dome with the wisdom dome. Sapphire throne. Too many people trouble prone. I'm in the zone cause I'm prone with the universe to call my own. No worries, you got some too. Just imagine all of us coming through, we the universal truths, while communities stay aloof. No debates over here, staying sober with them beers. As the Allahayim chair, y'all more alphabetic than queer. See this quite clear on how the system got you reared. And can't see that when it's near. And cooling, who you think you fooling? Your impeachment is the ruling and that good schooling. We keep it moving while you stooges YouTubing. Instead of cruising for them bruising. Been cooling, who you think you fooling? Your impeachment gets a ruling and that good schooling. We keep it moving while you stooges YouTubing. Instead of cruising for them bruising. And even when I didn't know, the world put on the show. Many foes became my bros. Staying light on my toes. Spice like clothes. Smell the stench in your nose. Never knows. Heat never melt. Grandma used to belt me. Now asteroids float by. The Grand Stallion just make it past my Van Allen. Right medallion. Been cooling. Who you think you fooling? Your impeachment gets a ruling and a good schooling. We keep it moving while you stooges YouTubing. Instead of cruising for the cruising. Been cooling. Who you think you fooling? Yo, get to ruling and that good schooling. We keep it moving while you do just YouTubing. Steady cruising for the bruising. Been cooling. Who you think you fooling? Yo, cooling. Excellent. We keep it moving while you do just YouTubing. Steady cruising for the bruising. Been cooling. Who you think you fooling? Yo, impeachment, get to ruling, and that good schooling. Keep it moving while you still just YouTubing. Steady cruising for the bruisers. Been cooling. Who you think you fooling? Yo, impeachment, get to ruling, and that good schooling. We keep it moving while you still just YouTubing. Steady cruising for the bruisers. Been cooling. Who you think you fooling? Yo, impeachment, get to ruling, and that good schooling. Keep it moving while you still just
Yeah. How y'all doing today?
rock with me.
Got a good one here for y'all. See if you get Cyrus get up to the room.
Again. Wake up early like I was told. Hard to move, feeling old. Dreams of corona scare the shit out of me. It's like radiation frequencies attacking me. Some hackers slim. Drowning like they can't swim. Posing more so on film. People feeling overwhelmed. Going all the days we walk on Elm. Now,
That's the song I wanted to play right there. Damn.
Yo, what's going on, Killer? What's up, man? My bad, my chat wasn't loading for some reason, but that's all right. We're going to keep moving.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So
Yeah.
tonight, we're going to deal with Omens. So, yeah, I got to glance through that book. I had a hard time finding the book online. So
Yeah.
I just got it. It's a little slow loading up. And I did a little homework. So
Yeah.
we can get in, see where it goes.
Well, that's a,
It's all
you know,
good.
that animal speak
So,
by Ted Andrews. Go ahead.
Yeah, I finally found it. I guess I could put the link in the chat.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a PDF.
It's a great beginner book.
You can start. I had a PDF, but it wasn't a
Absolutely.
whole book. Yeah, so I just got a hold of the
Yeah.
whole one. It's not the link in the body.
You know, I may be a little biased here, but I would say that book should be a main staple in any esoterical library or book collection. Gotta have it.
Andrew,
What was that?
Ted Andrews. That's what it was. Ted Andrews.
Hey, Killer, can you hear me all right? Hello? Hello? Oh, Lord. Then we have some technical difficulties this evening. Looks like this is the Siberia show. That's all good. See if we can get Big Killer B back on here. Well, anyways, until he gets that all figured out, the book that we're talking about is called Animal Speak by Ted Andrews. I believe our host is going to leave a link in the chat. Y'all go ahead and check that out. It's a great foundation, a great beginner book for the topic of the evening. I recommend, if you're interested in this sort of thing, I recommend that everyone go and check this out. This was the book that basically started me on my path. You know, an elder of mine brought this book to my attention, and this was basically a gift that I had acquired by spending lots and lots and lots of my childhood hunting and fishing with my with one of my grandparents. And a lot of the things in that book were things that are already inherently new by fishing and hunting all my childhood and spending a lot of time in nature, and also taught me many other very valuable lessons about nature and about the reality of life and how things connect. Something that we can call medicine wheel magic.
Called medicine.
Hey, Kelly, you back, bud?
Yeah, it's always it gotta be the time or something. Yo, it's like as soon as I hit that button, yo, like internet gets crazy. I
Yeah.
don't know what that is. But anyway,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, continue on. I know you were talking.
Okay.
I hear you fine.
I was just trying to. I was trying to keep air out the conversation there, and just sort of letting everyone know that the book that you're going to put a link to, if that's what you're still going to do, is Animal Speak by Ted Andrews. And as far as the topic of the evening, you know, a great book, a great starter book. And I was just telling our audience how this was basically the book that an elder brought to my attention. And because I had spent so much time hunting and fishing with a grandfather of mine, that there was a lot of information in that book that I already inherently knew, but it also taught me many other aspects and things of nature and the fabric of our reality and how things connect, especially in something that I call medicine wheel magic. You always hear the old Native American, African, South American, Mongolian shaman. It doesn't matter where the shaman's from, because what exists does exist. And they always say how everything is connected. Well, this is something that we know, but people just say this and take it for granted. Well, the topic of the evening is we're going to show you how things really are connected and how you can apply this to your spiritual practice.
Absolutely. So
yeah. So, is there any questions you want to ask, or do you want me just to kind of start ranting here?
Yeah, from my homework, little homework I got a chance to do on it. I guess when you're dealing with like animals, there's all type of things that can happen, and it's not just like, oh, I see this, so that's an omen. It's usually something that's out of the ordinary, or something that's like basically out of the ordinary. Say maybe an animal that you never seen before.
Right.
That's not maybe from that area, and it just pops up. Or
that's right.
It could be a bird, or there's something that happens that's not the norm, or maybe
that's right.
Or not just or that's not the norm for you. Like, you know what I mean? Something that might be the norm, or maybe not the norm for.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I have so many stories. And what we're going to do is we're going to break down, you have your animals, okay, your fish, your mammals, reptiles, insects, other types of bugs and things of that nature. You're going to have things that are just mundane, like an ant walking across your arm, to something special, like seeing a bobcat or seeing a rare butterfly, or but then I'd also, as this stream progresses, not yeah, the book talks about animals and what they represent, but then we can get into technology being omens, natural weather phenomenon being omens, other people being omens, and then actually seeing spirits being omens. And what I'd love when we get to the spirit part, Killer, is if could you put that picture of that spirit that I sent you? Could you put that up for everyone? Hello?
Yep, I hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, could you put that picture of that spirit up for everyone at some point?
Sure. I'll grab it now.
Awesome. Because I'd like to really break that down and show people that one of the most profound photographs of a spiritual entity fell in my lap here recently, and that's something that I've shared with you and my close friends, and I would like to share with the public to show them, that this shit is the real deal. Okay, but so. And I would also like to put this disclaimer out. Yes, I'm very learned in books and what the mainstream um, classifications and definitions of what certain omens mean. However, when you get to a certain level, it also what really matters is that what the omens mean to you, as long as you follow what I call the law, okay, which is basically the Hermetic principles. Okay, that's just a few. That's just 7 of them. That's the 7 mainstream ones, but you can't really argue with those. And I'm gonna say this for example. So, what are omens, if not some conscious deity, spirit being, trying to communicate with you in the physical realm? Okay, whenever I say that I am a god, however, so are you. Okay, because through my occultic mathematics, the positive side of God is the universe. Okay, they say that the universe is mental. Science, even quantum physics, knows that the universe is sentient. It is conscious. Okay, uh, things have patterns. We get into fractals and things of that nature. So, and this is how I break down animals. And this can go very light and this can go very dark. But I believe because, yes, some animals have emotions. They feel happiness and sadness and anger and joy. And to a certain extent, they are conscious beings. But I don't believe that they are sentient beings. Okay, so they're just a pepperoni on a big old pizza pie. You know what I'm saying? Where humans as sentient beings, we're going to the moon, we're going to space. We're communicating on these very intricate machines called phones and computers right now as we speak. Dolphins ain't doing that shit. Chimpanzees ain't doing that shit. And your dogs and your cats ain't doing that shit. Okay. So and that can go in many different directions, but that's another stream for another time. So let's break down the last omen I saw. I was with my foreman, and his family just bought him an acre of land, and they're about to move his brother's very nice single wide trailer on this land. He's going to have a spot. Okay, he's a very good-hearted guy. Had somewhat of a troubled past. That's why he's with me, and we're working and we're building our lives together. Okay, so what's really dope is that this acre of land that they bought is right in like my neck of the woods where I grew up, but it's right beside a huge hundreds of acres plot of land that's actually a hunting club owned by a paper mill company. Okay, so this is big boy land. Whoa, okay. Let's take a hiatus and talk about this picture. So, the same person that I'm talking about with this omen, I'll get back to this omen after I describe this picture. Okay. He brought another guy on that's on my crew. I'm actually in Augusta, Georgia right now on a job in a hotel room. I'm out of town right now. And And he brought me this picture. Now understand that the guy that took the picture is not very spiritually adept. Can everyone still hear me, Killer?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
Okay,
you loud and
okay,
clear.
cool. I just want to make sure I'm not wasting my breath.
Yep.
So, not a very spiritually conscious person. Okay, good guy. He's just not with it. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. When he took this picture after building this cedar swing, and he saw what was in the picture, he told me that out of fear and fright, that he left his tools at this site. He said, "Mark it up to the cause. I ain't going back to this motherfucker. I ain't getting my tools." Okay.
Right.
Notice, and this is right here in my stomping grounds. And this is where, well, first let's break down what this looks like. Killer, what does this look like to you, man?
It looks like, if you could say, like when you told me like it looks like a Native American. That's like kind of like what I looked at, and it's like, you know what I mean. It looks like they were maybe moccasins or something. But when you see your typical Native American Indian like picture or something, it's usually like a earth tone garment or something like that they're wearing.
That's
And
right.
it definitely, that's just what it looks like. But them
That's
wearing
exactly what.
jewelry
Yes.
or something like that, bone or
Yes, sir.
shell jewelry or something like that around their neck. Hey,
Yeah. You know, it looks like it's definitely a woman. Definitely wearing a very simple dress with maybe some minor beadwork at the top. Now, something that my mother brought up that not even I saw, okay, is this figure appears to be pregnant. Okay? Now think about 500, 600, 700 years ago, where this was probably where the Saluda Indians were, because this is right close to the Saluda River. Okay? Think about, you know, they probably didn't live the most luxurious life, so they would probably be very thin, but you can see that there's somewhat of a bulge there. You know, they would be a very thin people, very small, thin people. Okay? And you see somewhat of a lump in the stomach. Okay? Now, let's move on to what me and the shaman thought about this picture. As far as now, some people may disagree with me on this, but that's okay. We all have different experiences and different opinions. But cedar wood, from what I was explained, heightens psychic vibrations. Okay. And also take notice that this spirit is visible within the sacred geometry of that triangle. That's why that's why they say cats can see spirits, because essentially their pupils are just two triangles, one on top of the other. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah. So as far as mathematics and frequencies and vibrations, and even the lens of that camera, because he didn't see no one there, he was there by himself.
Right.
Okay. Even the lens picked this up, not only just picking the spirit up, but within the sacred geometry of that triangle, okay, the divine trinity, and with that abundance of fresh cedar heart. It has an extremely high vibration. Okay, as far as metaphysics are concerned. But what y'all think about that?
He said she's trying to catch up. She came in a little late.
Yeah.
What you said? The heart of the cedar? You said?
Well, yeah. So that's someone took a log, like a cedar log,
Right.
like for smudging, for example. The cedar leaves are for strength. Okay, because you understand, scientifically, a coniferous leaf stays green even through the coldest, wettest, most frozen winters.
Right.
Okay, so it's for strength. But as far as the cedar, the heart of the cedar, it being a very vibrant tree that lives through harsh conditions, has a very high frequency. Even the smell, I mean, you know the smell of cedar, right? You enjoy the smell of cedar?
Yeah, I even been in cedar closets. Like
Yeah, would you say that it's a positive smell?
yeah, definitely.
It kind of invigorates you slightly?
You got a whole different vibe when you walk in the room.
That's right. Okay, exactly. That vibe is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Now this picture and how I just described that, this is some deep occult science right here. Okay, and I've got the proof. There you go, right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is the most profound picture. Tom Petty ain't even got shit on this. I saw his picture. This is the most profound picture, and it fell right in your boy's lap through a guy that I hired on my tree crew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even that's an omen. Even that's an omen, because I just started talking to a man that is considered a Native American chief up there in the same state that you're in, Killer.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't notice that guy was from Connecticut. That blew me away.
Yeah, man. See, and everything is connecting. You see how Mythos is from here? See how Medicine Man is from here? And me and him hit it off?
Yep. Yep. The other dude I
Mhm.
found, what was his name? You know what I'm talking about? The last guy that's from South Carolina.
Yeah, Medicine Man.
Something water. Yeah.
Yeah. He goes by Medicine Man.
I was blown away.
Oh man,
Yep.
I could learn so much from him.
Great.
Oh, his videos are fantastic.
Yep.
He's an intellectual,
Fantastic.
more so than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He does classes and something like that.
Yeah.
So,
but I do know that this picture is Yeah. He's great. Medicine Man is great. Yes, sir. I know this picture is very profound. So for the people that are listening now, is there any questions before I move on to the next topic? I'll give y'all a moment to type it up.
Got any questions about the image we have on the screen?
Going once. Going twice.
All right. Y'all see
And
y'all come up with it.
Yeah,
Yep.
We can always come back. You can just, talk about the ghost. We'll talk about the spirit. Okay. So, this new acre that my boy is about to move on, he's had a very troubled past. And right now, through the, what's the word? Through the, I'm having a brain fart, so I'll just move on. It's kind of like going through purgatory, okay? He has to repent cosmically for all the bullshit that he's done, and he's doing that through working hard on my tree service. But I'm paying him very well, mind you, because he deserves it, because he's taking initiative, he's learning new skills. I'm able to go and do my thing, go sell some solar, go get more tree work, and know that he's gonna, for better or worse, kind of handle the situation. So we were just kind of talking about these things, and we went and walked. We was trespassing, but who gives a fuck? Walked this hunting camp. They got feeders and deer stands, and it's the setup. Someone that came through there and bush hog. It's super nice. And we're walking back on the trail to the road, and forgive me because I don't know the species exactly, but it was a black and blue butterfly, and it came from the left, flew to the right, and then flew straight. Okay. And right there, I asked him, because we were kind of talking about esoterics, because he's with me every day, and I'm beginning to put him on game to the things that I see. He's like, whoa, that's crazy, because I live this life. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, we'll call him Benny,
Right.
just to protect him. I was like, Benny, what did that butterfly mean to you? Because I know you noticed it, you pointed it out. So it had some sort of cause and effect in your life. And we're talking about shamanics and doing
Yeah.
like a shamanic walk through the woods, you know. And you know, he was like new beginnings, like transformations. I was like, yes, that's what butterflies do. They transform. Okay. But then we went into the colors and how blue for me anyways, and really as far as the universe is concerned, blue is the most powerful color in my personal opinion as far as this universe is concerned. A good example would be like the Hindu gods. Their skin is always blue. Well, blue is really the color of active enlightenment. So like a monk, for example, you know, that you would say their aura is white. Okay, they're happy with nothing. Well, that's kind of lame to me. Okay, I like being cool and doing stuff and helping people. So active enlightenment through the thousands and thousands of years of the Hindu cultures and many other shamanic cultures, they've made that color blue, and I'll tell you why. Look at examples of your universe. Let's think of what color are the hottest stars in our universe. Do y'all know what color they are? The hottest ones. We're talking about 10,000 Kelvin and up.
Shit, I don't even.
They're blue. The color's blue.
What would it be? Damn, I can't. All the thing I can look at now is Saturn. What's that?
Well, stars. We're talking about suns.
Yes, Jupiter is in blue, is it? Or is it? I would say Jupiter.
What?
I don't know. I might be wrong. Well, you asked me the color of a planet, right?
No, I asked you what are the hottest suns in the universe? What color are they?
Oh.
They're blue. You there, bud?
Are they blue?
Yeah, I'm telling you they are. Look it up. 10,000 Kelvin and up is a blue sun.
Yeah, I know
That's
the
how hot
hottest part of a flame is supposed to be blue. I know that. So,
yeah. You see how it's the same as
I
far as.
kind of pick it up now. I think it's me.
Yeah, it's definitely you.
Okay, I'm gonna drop. Keep talking. I'm gonna drop out. Come back on.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I just want you to be here with us. Okay, and for another example, let's think of just here on Earth. What's the largest representation of water? Okay, the ocean. The ocean from space looks blue. Now I know this gets tricky. Okay, because then you go into the sky. The largest representation of air is the sky. It's blue. The hardest minerals are diamonds. Okay, they're clear. But if they were big enough, them motherfuckers would be blue. Look at a glacier. Okay? Blue. What's the coldest ice? You know what I'm saying? And if you could see it, it would well, see, this is where it gets tricky. Blue is a very hard color for nature to make. So for things to be blue on this planet, they nature, God, whatever you want to call it, has sort of used the atmosphere to its advantage. Like my eyes are blue, but really they're blue because of the atmosphere and light, and there being a lack of pigment in my eyes. Like y'all's eyes are brown because you have pigment in your eyes. You know what I'm saying? So that gets kind of tricky. And I actually don't even have that one all the way fleshed out. So we're going to proceed. But, you know, it's real easy to see if you weren't a scientist and you were a caveman and you looked up at the sky, the largest representation of air is the sky. The color is blue. The largest representation of water is the world's oceans. Them bitches is blue too. You know what I'm saying? So we'll move on. So that being on that butterfly being its strength, okay, or him growing stronger, and then the blackness coming from was what our boy Mythos was talking about,
Right.
where things are nurtured and created in the darkness, and how I broke down about the law of observation and how that's a scientific explanation for that. Right.
Right.
And how it came from the left to the right, where he's coming from, you know, the dark path and the righteous path, and going forward and continuing to move forward. And it's basically a very simple omen. And things don't have to be extravagant. They can be very simple and mundane. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's just a quick little example that happened literally Monday afternoon. Yeah.
You got anything? So that when you were talking about the colors, I'm gonna put a link to one of my videos I did a little bit.
Okay, cool.
That was just me and P hanging out for the whole video. It's about the use of colors and the meanings of colors and art and literature in like ancient times. Like, you know what I mean? What these colors meant, like say in the Quran, when they say white, is it really meaning white? Or when they say black, or they use something of color or a certain color, or even in the artwork of the Greeks, the Romans and stuff, their artwork, the colors, even ancient Egypt, their artwork, like the color of the person, like it had meaning. Like say in, I think it's Greek or Roman, they would put the man of the house skin darker. So they were the people that went out and worked and stuff like that. Where the women and the little boys, they would be in the side. So their skin wouldn't be tan like that. So they would be lighter skin. And it also means like certain authorities or certain, like, you know what I mean? These people held certain statuses. Like they'll be wearing a certain color, or their skin tone to be a certain color. They can make or whatever.
And it being the opposite in like ancient Japan and the Asian cultures, where, you know, or even in the European cultures, where if a person of high status was painted, they wanted their skin to be painted pale, you know, because they ain't out there working the fields.
Right. Like,
hey, motherfucker, check my skin out. I lived a good life. You know what I'm saying? I ain't out here sweating with you peons. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yo, I explained all that stuff in that video. I just put the link in.
Hell yeah, I'll have to check that out later.
Me and Pete chilling for like 2 hours or so.
Yeah.
Well,
I just had a really cool omen come to mind that I'd like to discuss, to kind of bring people that even other humans and gods or cosmic energies that we have dignified and given godly names can be omens. Okay, let me tell this story. So I was in like downtown Columbia, South Carolina, right there on like Gervais and Hugie Street. Anyone from South Carolina is going to know exactly where I'm talking about. Right there across from McDonald's, y'all. And there was a couple of police officers with their lights on right there on the corner. And there was this homeless dude. He was for sure homeless, raggedy, long, crazy red beard. He was a skinny white fella, probably late 40s, early 50s. Skin looks like leather, where he's always outside. And he's sitting there with some cigarettes and like a small French fry from McDonald's, where someone hooked him up with some fries or some shit. And I'm not even sure if the police were there for him or not. It really doesn't matter. I'm just adding it so y'all can see the image in your mind. Okay. You know, long ear length hair, reddish blonde hair, beard, you know, real skinny, sitting there on the curb. And I had one of my good friends, actually Benny, his younger brother was the guy. And he was actually my second business partner. And we was coming from a job, I believe. And because he's like my workout buddy, we like to jokingly talk about the Nordic gods. Like before we do like a big 355-pound bench press, we'll joke like, Odin, give me strength, you know, just to be funny, you know. So he's really all about Odin and what Odin represents, even more so than Thor. Like people think Thor is the bad motherfucker. It's really Odin in actuality. You know, Marvel makes it out that it's Thor, but it's really Odin. But and he is really not about the esoterical lifestyle. He knows I'm with it, but he's my best friend. He'd be like, "Nah, I'm not with that bullshit." Like he'll say it just like that. And I'm like, "Okay, whatever," you know. But not saying he's not a man of righteousness, because for more or less,
Right.
he's a very righteous individual. Hell, he wouldn't have been my business partner if he wasn't. Okay, but
Right.
it was so crazy that this omen was so powerful that it made him. He knew exactly what it was, but he didn't want to fucking admit it. Okay. Because everyone subconsciously here over the past couple of years, they started to act different around me because I kind of came into myself. Like I'm real young, you know, came into myself where things happen. Like things
Right.
sometimes either won't act right electronically or they will act right electronically. And it's weird. And people notice these small things, but it's in the back of their minds. And when I tell you, he was like,
Yeah.
he was being a dickhead. He's like, when we ride by, you should just look at him right in his grill, man. I was like, yeah, that's kind of cruel, you know. But I did look at the man, not to make fun of the man like my friend wanted me to do, like a dickhead, but I did anyways, but in more of a serious manner. And when I tell you that the man looked at me with only his right eye and kept his left eye closed, and it was just that quick 2 seconds where that happened. Okay. Now you have to be there, of course, to feel the omen and see what it is. And the man looked right at me with only one of his eyes. We all know that Odin has one eye. Right.
Okay.
Everybody know this?
Nah, I didn't know that.
Okay. All right. I'm sure.
Yo, I'm with you.
Yeah. And then my friend, who's like, I'm not about that bullshit, says, was that Odin just then? I said, yeah, man. And he knew if I said yeah, he knew I was serious about that shit. And it was kind of crazy because we didn't talk for about 20 fucking minutes after that shit. And for me and him, that's crazy because we constantly cracking each other up. If y'all have seen me on here before, you know I like to cut up and joke and make laughs, just like Killer does. I would say even sometimes more so. Like I won't even be taking Killer. I don't even take shit you say seriously. I'm just trying to crack on it. You know what I'm saying? But from a place of love, of course, just for entertainment. And for him to feel that extremely, like that's like secretly one of my top things that ever happened to me in my life. Where Odin comes in the form of a homeless dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what path did that man take in order to be the conduit for that omen to reach to me?
Yeah. That's
what you gotta think about.
I wanted to ask you this next, and you're leading me right into it.
Okay.
Say when Omens happened, how much of the moment that it happens, right? How much other stuff do you have to keep in consideration? Like, what would you smell? Or where did you came from?
Man.
Or what just happened just before? Like, say like, I just lost my job, and then I see this certain animal that I've never seen before, just like cross my path. Or like, right. I don't know, the hood of my car, like, you know what I'm saying? It's chilling. This is dumb shit. Like, you know what I mean? All those things.
Man.
How well I just all play together.
On what you're talking about, like, Killer?
Here or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On what you're talking about, Killer, the shaman actually schooled me on this during a divination, where he was like, "You're not even paying attention to the way you're laying the cards on the table." Like, you even have to pay attention to the angles that the cards, and if there's anything pointing at anything on the images on the cards. Like, I use regular playing cards.
I've
Yeah.
seen, I have experienced as a young kid, certain things, say like playing cards, right? I used to play with these old ladies when I was a little kid, right? And I knew exactly how they played. Like, I knew their superstitions. Like the old black folks in cards, they got their favorite numbers and the numbers they don't like. You know what I mean? They might throw those out. They're playing pity pat.
That's right.
Like, you know what I mean? And I would figure all that shit out. And sometimes I would think that the position of the cards actually matter on the odds of what is like more likely to be the outcome.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. That's their own mental manifestation.
Like, if this say, like, this card, like you said before, like if the cards pointed in a certain direction or facing another card, let's say this, the, like, off the top of my head, there's some crazy shit I'm gonna say. Like, that card that's face down in front of that has a certain energy, and the card that you have a certain energy, and how they relate with being positioned in a certain place or whatever. Whether you constantly know what that shit means or whatever, or it's just something that you might notice, that the outcome of it occurs more likely if things are set in this order or this way.
Yeah. If you want to see a prime example of what you're talking about, walk up to any craps table at any casino. Anyone that plays craps and really plays craps are extremely superstitious. And they have an entire, just like we were talking about before, they have their own mathematical language that is the language for their own personal universe.
I gotta hold the dice with the two single dots facing each other before I throw it.
Yeah, setups. Yeah, different setups. That's right. See, me and the root doctor himself, he took me to Cherokee, North Carolina, and I got the 101 on root doctor craps. You know what I'm saying? On working roots at the craps table. I'm talking about 3 days at the craps table, no sleep. They offer you a drink, you tell them, hell no, I don't want none of that, because even that can throw the vibe off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, yeah, I've really been through that. We won some money, and sometimes we didn't win some money.
Yeah.
You know, we went and won 5 times our money one time and did pretty good and dipped, you know?
Do you think you can wear something out by doing it too much? Say, like, and I need this, and I can do this, and this is most likely to happen.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's you know, not to dumb down what you're saying, but too much of anything is not a good thing.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
The practicality still comes into play with this if you're really trying to do it, you know? Because what is simply, you know, your intuition, you can look at your intuition and your knowledge subjectively and believe in what makes you feel good, or you can put that aside and see what really is. And that's where you become strong or powerful in your craft, is being objective. Like I always say, criticizing everything. I criticize everything. If you say some shit and it's bullshit, I'm gonna say that it's bullshit, you know? And that goes for anybody that wants to challenge anything that I say. I say, hey, let's not argue. Let's have a debate. If you bring up points that are valid, I have enough humility to possibly agree with you.
Yep.
You know? but you got to win. You have to be logical and give me an explanation that lines up, is mathematically correct, and makes sense. You know, um,
Like what your mood was when you see an omen.
what's my mood?
Yeah, say like you could be angry and you see something, right? The fact that you're in a certain mood, could that interpret the omen you saw a different way?
Um,
Or whatever else was going
I would
on at
say,
the time.
I would say this. I would say
Heard
this. Let me tell a story to answer your question. So, last time I lost my cool, I had to go get, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I had to go get 5 stitches. Okay. There was your omen for me losing my cool. I don't lose my cool. It really got to be some fuck shit to make me lose my cool. But
Right.
my punishment for losing my cool was 5 stitches.
Right.
So, and usually the omen is going to be some sort, in my personal experience, I always have to say this. When you lose your cool or you act unjust, the omen and the punishment are the same thing. Because the universe, now I'm going to say this, I may hurt some feelings, especially because you have a lot of religious people that come on here. The universe, in reality, doesn't give a fuck about you. Okay?
Yeah,
Pain is the best teacher. I even had one of these like light working hippie people that I sometimes despise teach me this valuable lesson one day. Because she was a little more than the people that I despise. She had some Mac to her game. She said, if you put out positivity, you're going to get positivity. If you put out negativity, you're going to get negativity. And that is especially true today because we got something called the internet and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, that the shit that you even think, which I've already spoken on this, these are technological omens where you think about something and you never even mention it. It was just a thought that was never spoken into being. And then the next day you get on YouTube or Facebook and there it is, a whole documentary on the topic you were thinking about.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's another thing. Could you explain to the viewers an example of what something might mean? Say like a color, an animal, or plant.
Yeah. I have another wonderful story.
The wind, the rain.
Yeah,
Right.
I have another wonderful story. Okay. Remember whenever I got into that pact with Ogun to go to cell tower school? You remember when I stole those flash drives and I got in that fight with all them Mexicans and I got scraped up where the asphalt won that fight? Okay, well, there was my omen / punishment. Okay. Now, the last day of tower school, whenever I was driving back from graduating, as I come into my hometown, my nearest metropolitan area, I swear to you, and I called the shaman, and at this point, he was the one that explained to me what this was. It had to have been more than 30, probably around 50 black buzzards flying in circles at above the road that enters the town that's nearest where I live.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know exactly. Yeah, South Carolina, you see buzzards and shit like that, like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and anyone that's an Egyptologist, okay, or anyone with really common sense knows what the buzzard means. it's not an evil omen. They think it's a nasty thing, and it's not. They're the ones that clean up the garbage. They're the ones that continue the cycle of life. You know, they're the garbage men of the land. You know, so that was sort of a huge omen of completion, where I basically changed my very stars by completing a school that I was not meant to complete, because no one's supposed to go 2 and 3 days without sleep. And how they were there to clean up that path that was meant for me, but through walking the red road or the warrior's path, I had changed my very stars. Okay? And black being the power of course, you know, change. But it's also, as far as an occultist is concerned, the left-hand path, which is where you take matters into your own hands. Where the cosmos maybe had different plans for me, but since I made the sacrifices that I needed to make, I said, fuck this fucking plan. I got my own plans.
Right.
Okay. Anyone that works a job and goes to school and raises children all in one, they are warriors. As far as the cosmos goes, the universe. I mean, look at Conan the Barbarian. Look at the Scorpion King. He was like, I make my own destiny. Because he was a warrior. Because he made the sacrifices and fought the monsters that are in our way, the monsters of poverty and debt and strife. Okay, as far as we're concerned in modern times. Fight these monsters and win, and you can change your life. But you got to have what it takes to do that, you know?
Right. I was reading something on gophers.
Say what now?
Gophers. Because I was like, oh, gopher. I ain't seen a gopher. I ain't never.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that book breaks down every damn animal on the planet, you know? Yeah. And one thing I'll say about that book, when you read about these different animal omens, those are just generalizations in order for you to get a foothold in that particular animal or even that type of animal. Because when you start to actually experience shamanic omens, you're going to have very extremely specific definitions for whatever phenomenon just took place before you. You're going to have, like I said, that very definitive explanation for what just took place.
How do you think the indigenous people or other shamans around the world, how did this knowledge have them to experience life in this world compared to the normal person like we have today? Like, what was the difference, the way like their lives were knowing this knowledge compared to what people do today?
Okay, well, I would say, and you've heard me say this many times, and my greatest lesson that I love to teach is the esoterical meaning for the number 10, and how your very environment is the greatest book of all to teach you the fabric of reality and how that plays into esoterical practices. You know, and I'll just reiterate how 1, like the number 10, 1 is something, 0 is nothing. To me, this is the spirit worlds, all the astral realms, the physical world, heaven and hell, the void, the nothing, all in one. Everything that ever existed will exist for you, exists for me, exists for everyone, exists for no one, exists. Okay? So when you're driving down the fucking road or you're walking outside, you see when you look up at the sky, essentially you see infinite nothingness, zero. And then you look down and you see something, trees, roads, other cars, houses, people, whatever.
Right.
That's the one. So whenever we've built houses and we're always glued to a TV screen or our phone, that sort of takes away that universe 101 from us, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. And you know, the wind blowing on your face to the way the grass feels as you walk through the yard barefooted, which I know most black people ain't gonna do that. That's a white person thing. But just to make a joke there. But even the way water flows and the earth crumbles in your hand, you know, all these are valuable lessons in the fabric of reality, and applying that to your practice instead of listening to what some old geezer said 500 years ago in a dusty ass old book. Okay, read what that dude said, and you know, read it out of, you know, read between the lines, context clues. Maybe there are some lessons you can learn there. All these books are extremely esoterically very valuable, from the Torah to the Bible to, you know, the Codex Gigas, whatever kind of crazy book you want to look into. That was essentially a monad, which is a person, or a part of God, which is what you are, expressing expressing their personal universe to you, and what they felt was right. Doesn't necessarily mean that that is the end all be all truth of the cosmos, but for them it was their truth. So you read between the lines. But if you really want to learn, go outside and pay attention and listen. You know, you hear a lot on like a lot of TV movies and stuff where people say listen, but have you actually ever really listened?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a hard thing to do sometimes.
Like I
Especially
learned
today.
about birds, like how they be quiet when motherfuckers is around. Like you hear
Yeah.
chirping and stuff, they ain't no like crazy shit going on. So they just
Hey, for example, while my guys were working and they were cutting some trees down, and while I was there, all you heard was chainsaws. But then a lady came and she asked about me going to look into her trees a couple houses down, and it's down through the woods. And I swear, from the time I got in the truck and got to her house and walked around her house and got back, I didn't hear a fucking chainsaw. Like, I got in their ass. Like, I didn't hear a chainsaw one time while I was gone. And I was gone like 20, 30 minutes. What the fuck y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to listen, boy.
yeah.
That's some real shit that happened today. So,
Yeah, you shit all fucked up and shit. Yeah, you
like,
said,
what the fuck am I paying y'all for? I know it's hot, but damn, I got y'all water.
you can hear that shit too.
Yeah, even my foreman, he was with me because he met the lady first. And I said, Benny, I gotta go get this fucking man lift. I need you to get in their ass. I want you to take the work up to your threshold and hold them there. I said, I want you to make these motherfuckers quit, because while we was gone, they didn't do a goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And these are new guys. I don't care if they stay or not, to be honest with you, because they already bringing some fuck shit into the equation. You know, like letting their old ladies get in the way of their work and shit. Like, I ain't got time for that, man. You can't let a woman. That's you worried about a woman leaving you. I guarantee she'll leave you if you ain't got no money, no job, no security.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Yep.
That's the truth.
That's the damn truth. I hate,
Yeah.
you know.
That's just funny though.
Women are programmed to look for a provider so that they can raise children. That's their nature. You know. In general, I ain't saying this for everybody, but generally, you know, and rightfully so. Go ahead, Killer.
They should have got that Omen and shit. When he had to work their ass to do, so they quit.
Yeah,
This is about the Omen
they
right
probably saw a lizard. They
Yeah.
probably saw a lizard
there.
right there at their feet with a mini chainsaw cutting some shit. They're like, that's cool, a lizard with a chainsaw. No, motherfucker, that's an omen. You better get your ass to work.
Right? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
What else I had? I had something else on my screen. What spirit animals, totems,
What was that again?
totems, and people having certain attributes of animals.
Right. right. Absolutely. Totems they exist in all spiritual cultures. Okay. And it's basically mental, physical, and spiritual qualities that a certain individual may share with a certain animal or plant. Okay. I'll give you an awesome example. Well, this is a totem that was basically forced lovingly, or this totem was blessed to my daughter. Now, you got to understand that my people are somewhat religious, but they're actually secretly very esoterical like I am. Okay, I'm just the only one that had big enough balls to really run with it. And then you got my baby mama's people that are extremely religious. However, before my child was born, all the cards and gifts had owls on them from both sides. Now, this was maybe, just a theme, but I promise you there was something extremely subconscious about my daughter being blessed with the spiritual vibratory frequency of the owl, which I have many wonderful owl totem omens that I can share with y'all, and I will share with in just a moment. But the owl is extremely powerful, and I've always had a huge tie with an owl. You ever, for people that hunt or just sitting outside, you ever actually saw an owl, like a full-grown owl?
Yeah, motherfucker. I hear them
Go
all
ahead.
the time, but you never see them.
But you've never seen one. Okay, I have a lot.
I see one though.
And the feeling that you get when you're you even get the feeling when you're hearing an owl, let alone seeing one. And anyone listening to this, they're going to know what I'm talking about if they've ever experienced that feeling that you get when you see an owl. That's an extremely polarizing animal.
That motherfucker just look at you, you like, oh shit, that motherfucker got the craziest stare ever.
Oh, so crazy. Yep. You got to understand, not only can they see, now I don't know the number, but I'm just going to throw it out there, and 10, 20 times better than you, but that motherfucker can do it in the dark.
Yeah.
Eagles can't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's like a 5-8 pound animal. Yep. And I'm just throwing that number out there too. I don't really know how much they weigh. But nature has designed them to fly silently. I mean, just think about that and how they can turn their head almost all the way around.
That's some crazy shit, right?
Ain't nothing getting past the motherfucking owl, bro.
That motherfucker sitting there, that motherfucker just turn his head and look at you. You be like, oh shit.
And even though we're higher in the food chain than the owl, but when you hear that motherfucker call out, you gonna get some shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I'm in the presence of an owl. I would say that the owl, more so than any other creature on this planet, whenever you're in the presence of an owl, that's almost like seeing a ghost.
The hawk is like that. We got these hawks out here. We get eagles on here too.
Oh man,
the hawks sit up in the trees and shit.
Yeah,
The motherfucker look strong as a motherfucker. Like, yeah, I wish you would do something. I'll fuck you up. The big towers, the big claws, they just sit there and just look at you and shit. They got that long, like that beak. The motherfucker just stare at you. You just like, oh shit, this is a bad motherfucker right
So
here.
check. So let me put you on this game. The entire raptor family is awesome, from eagles to hawks to peregrine falcons to buzzards and vultures to owls.
Yep.
They're all dope. Okay, but let me put you on this game. What's so wonderful and powerful and deep rooted with the omens of these birds is that they're essentially fucking dinosaurs, bro. They're dinosaurs. They're directly related to the dinosaurs.
Yeah, because the bird's supposed to be related to like reptiles or something.
Yeah.
Birds.
You know,
Yes.
as far as the fossil record shows, you know, in the Permian period, you know, amphibians, they turn into the proto mammals that were like half mammal, half reptile, and then they split off into the reptiles and the mammals. The reptiles, they had their time during the Mesozoic era, where we were just the mammals. Our ancestors were just these mouse-like creatures, and the reptiles, they flourished and took over every single natural facet, from the seas to the skies to the earth to the rivers and the lakes, you know, from the microcosm to the macrocosm. They filled the niche, you know, and then that damn meteor hit the Yucatan Peninsula, and then the mammals, we got our shot. But the smaller dinosaurs or creatures that were related to the dinosaurs that shared that same evolutionary gene of having feathers and being warm-blooded, they survived, probably because they did have feathers and they were warm-blooded. Because if you got something blocking out the sun, it's going to get cold as shit, you know. And if you're small, you're more flexible in the environments that you can be in and what you eat, things of that nature. And during the extinction of the Cretaceous, you know, that ancestor that was the birds, they survive, and then they fill the niche, all the niches of the skies, you know.
Right.
Because mammals, we took over the land, and you know, you got bats and stuff, and it gets real complicated. But what's so amazing, and I don't know why they haven't done this yet, but there's genes that they can activate in a chicken, and that motherfucker's gonna get teeth, his feet's gonna change, and he's gonna have a tail and essentially look like a goddamn dinosaur.
What, they said they got something they could give a bird, and that shit to do that shit?
Yeah, they had to kill it after a certain stage during the while it was in the egg or in the embryonic stage. But yeah, they got pictures of a chicken embryo with teeth and a goddamn tail, dude. This is real. You might want to search that and slap that on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And having that spiritual memory, that ancestral esoterical memory, you know, that's like sacrificing. That's why a chicken is so great, because you killing a dinosaur, essentially. An ancient creature. That's like I read this really wonderful kids novel called I believe it's called The Swamp Rat. And it was about this swamp, like this muskrat or this field rat that was sort of like lived in the swamp. And one of the really cool little poems in the swamp was, "As goes the gator, so the swamp goes." And in this book, maybe you can look that book up too, man. It's a really cool little book. It was one of my most favorite books reading as a teenager. Really wonderful, awesome, charming book to read. And they was always talking about how the gator is more ancient than birds. You know, the crocodilians are ancient as fuck. You know what I'm saying? But they were saying from a spiritual perspective that every gator has the memories of every gator that's come before it in the book. And on a spiritual, esoterical, metaphysical perspective, I would, if I had to bet whether that's true or not, now whether they're sentient of it or conscious of it or not, I would say no. But I believe that's true, which is something that we call instincts. That's what we call instincts. That's like when a baby turtle hatches, it knows it better run for its fucking life,
Yeah.
Like sea turtles. How the motherfuckers hatch, they be getting after it. They know they gotta run. Yeah.
Yep.
That's called instincts. Answered my own question for myself just then.
Yep.
Rudy Barav, he answered the question before I even got to it when we were talking about the suns. Yeah, they're called blue dwarfs, man. Blue dwarfs. That's right. Beat me to the punch.
All right.
What we got going on here? Everything good? Working with them shim angels, little murder. And how does that pertain? That's a wonderful topic. What is? I see that you said it twice here. And in what context do you mean that, buddy? Do, 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 do. In what context do you mean working with them shim angels? I'd like to know where you're coming from with that, bud. There it is.
All right. Dinosaur feathers and chickens to visual engineering
Invoking them. Do you have a question, little murder? Because if you saw my last video with Killer Bee, Angels and Demons, you'll see that we touched on that a whole lot. We touched on that a whole bunch. I got a whole video on it. I welcome you to go check out that video when you get a chance after this little murder. And I got a whole video on that entire subject.
See the thing on the screen about the dinosaurs?
Which is cool. I'm glad I do. That's great.
Oh, shit.
Let's go to Killer Bee's channel and look up Angels and Demons.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's some real shit, man. The blueprint for dinosaurs is every time you eat a damn $5 fill up from KFC, you're eating something with the genetic code for fucking dinosaurs, bro. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that. For sure, little murder. Yeah, man, please do. And Lil Murder, I believe we talk a lot of bullshit in the beginning. I believe after about like 25 or 30 minutes in, I really start getting into it. Hit them dinosaur wings up, bro. He said about to hit them wings up. I said, hell yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna have tomorrow. Do you want your dinosaur original recipe or extra crispy?
Yeah, why can't I get? Oh, there it goes.
Can I get half lemon pepper, half teriyaki dinosaur wings? That'd be great.
Human hair, bird feathers came from reptile scales.
Yeah, for sure. It's made of the same shit. What's that? What's it called? Keratin? Am I saying that right? Is that right?
You say keratin?
Am I saying? Is that right?
I don't know.
Huh? Don't quote me on that. That's just what the word that came to my head. Curry Velociraptor wings. That's hilarious. I'll bring up a cool topic, across many shamanic traditions, not only from all over the world, but also from different eras in time. The owl was an omen of death. Okay? I can attest to this. I was deer hunting with that same friend that we saw Odin with. Okay? And I was first to sit down on the trail. He went deeper. Okay? And we're only probably like a 70-acre plot. And we're right there on the edge of it. All right. Well, I see a doe. Okay. I picked the rifle up. I remember I had a 308 high caliber rifle. And I put the scope on her, but I didn't shoot her. I didn't have the desire to kill this deer. Okay. And I must have stared this deer down for what seemed like eons, but it was only like probably like a good 5 or 10 minutes where she'd ease on, she'd be foraging through the leaves, then she'd smell me or something. She was a young doe. And I remember there was like a small oak tree, only like 30 feet tall, real skinny. And about 10 feet up had a nice horizontal straight limb coming off of it. I can see it in my head right now. And that's interesting, Little Murder. I have to check into that. And I saw the deer, and then finally, after like probably 10 minutes, she really caught wind of me because the wind blew. Like if I was facing north, the wind blew northwest. I remember this because I was feeling the wind on the back of my neck as I was hunting, and she was straight north of me, and the wind was blowing northwest. And when it's finally as she eased on where she was northwest of me, she smelled me and she dipped. She blew. If anyone's ever heard what deer do whenever they sense that there's danger or a human in the general area, they'll blow. They'll go, and then they'll get it. And then they'll also make like this really weird bleating sound that also, like when they feel safe, once they've ran out of the area, you'll hear them go, wah! It's like a really weird sound that they make. And that's basically telling all the other deer in the area, don't fucking come this way. It sucks. So, but whenever she ran towards my buddy, I hear a rifle go off. Boom! And then I hear another one go off. Boom! And then I hear another one go off. Boom! Okay? And she runs. Later, I found out that he missed. Okay? Yeah. And she runs off the property. And then someone had a bigger gun. Let me tell you, all of a sudden, like 15 minutes later, I hear boom. Someone had like a 7 mag or something. And as soon as that happened, this small little screech owl, remember that horizontal limb? It's like 20 yards from me too. I'm sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
An owl flies up and sits on this fucking limb and looks at me. And it sits there for probably, I don't know, a minute or 2 minutes. And then it sits there and looks at me. And then it turns around and shows its back to me. And sits there again for like another 30 seconds to a minute. And then flies off. That was an omen of death. That animal, which I had visually connected with, just lost its life. So, not necessarily an evil omen, but an omen of death, I would say yes. I would say so. Cool, little murder. I'm gonna check that out, buddy.
Through this, like,
What's that, Killer?
Yeah, that's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
The owl, something else.
I'm chock full of them.
Something else. Yeah.
It really is.
Yup. You said it to cut.
Yeah. I mean, that's a damn night vision having, silent flying dinosaur, you know? Really cool.
Yeah,
it's a really cool animal.
Like, when you see birds like that out here, they look crazy. They look like fucking dinosaurs. Like these motherfuckers leave shadows on the ground. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they fly over you. Oh shit. Like, what the fuck is that?
You're up there in the North Woods, bro. Awesome place.
Yeah, man. It's like, it's nice out here, like in the woods. It's totally different from the woods here and the woods in South Carolina. Those are like two fucking totally different type of woods.
Yeah,
like,
y'all's trees are totally different. The wood's drier.
Yup. There are all those pines and stuff like that. We got the oak and maple trees and stuff like that.
But y'all have an entirely different species of pine tree. You know, we got the southern soft yellow pines down here. Y'all got like them big ass white pines and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the pine trees out here are pretty good. Yeah, they're not like the trees you see. Like South Carolina pine trees I see, they're real narrow. Right. The ones here are pretty wide. Like I got a big oak. Like you could cut a slice off of that. Like that should be like a dining room table. It's just big.
Shit.
Yeah, it's like,
you know, we've got those trees, man, but they're usually like in protected areas, like along riverbanks and stuff.
Yeah.
Or on old properties. Yeah.
But they're everywhere out here. Like oaks, big maples and stuff. That's like all there is.
Damn. Yeah, I'd love to come up there one day, man. That'd be dope.
Yeah, trees is cool. Like it's like a big thing for tourists and stuff like that in the Northeast, like in the fall and stuff, and all the leaves changes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to go up to like Maine. Like, how far are you from Maine?
Maine is like what? That shit about 8 hours. Probably.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
that'd be like from me going to like Miami.
Yeah, because look, Connecticut, Massachusetts, then you hit New Hampshire, then Vermont, then Maine.
Yeah.
Maine's way at the top. I know some people out there. I know like quite a few people I know moved there.
Yeah.
He said it's nice out there. Like I went camping out there. You remember the movie Meatballs? You ever seen the movie Meatballs?
Unfortunately, I haven't, man. That sucks that I haven't, but I haven't.
About like camping, like a summer camp. Like I went camping. Like,
yeah.
They got a lot of like spring. What do you call them? The natural springs.
Yeah.
Like, clean water and stuff. Like they got some areas Is this stuff like people get their water from a well, from like a public well.
It's supposed to be like having healing properties and shit like that.
Yeah, whatever. This water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they just got a whole bunch of little spots like that on the side of the road. Like, you know what I mean?
Cool, man.
It's kind of cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Spring
How
water,
about
that
the
shit be
ocean?
ice.
How about the ocean up there where you're at? Is it different than down here?
Yeah, the sound. Like I'm more like the sound. Like I'm not in the ocean. Like we're on the sound.
Yeah.
On island sound. So that's like it's seawater, but like you know what I mean. It's like ocean water, but that motherfucker don't got no waves and shit. Like we get waves, but like it's not like waves at Myrtle Beach. Ain't no shit like that at Virginia Beach. Nothing like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like small stuff on the sound. Like you don't get into like the Atlantic until you I think Massachusetts, and then you can get to the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
You got to go to New York to get to the Atlantic.
Yeah. No, I don't think we got the biggest waves in the world, but as far as swimming here on the Atlantic in South Carolina, it's kind of annoying. You know what I'm saying? Because you're getting your ass beat the whole time.
So we like the fish. We got like striped bass and bluefish.
Right.
You get like porgies. We just started getting porgies.
Yeah. Like a lot of people from where you're at,
like baby bluefish and shit like that.
Yeah, a lot of people from where you're at, they retired down here. So I knock doors and stuff a lot, and they'll like move on the lake. Yeah. Like for them, like $200,000 for a lake house. That's the hookup for them. And they're always talking about wanting to go striper fishing because we got landlocked striper down here on Lake Murray.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a bluefish tournament out here. They have you get so many thousands of dollars. Those things are nasty.
I always heard that bluefish was a motherfucker.
Like you think you catch a fish like a fish helpless? Hell no, that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that motherfucker draw blood. Real. That motherfucker draw blood. That motherfucker bite the shit out of your ass. Like you think.
And what's so crazy
like you think you got him? Like you got him out the water and shit. Like he done.
Yeah.
That motherfucker snatch his head, bite the shit out of your ass. You know your hand is leaking. It's leaking. Sharp,
what's so crazy?
Sharp teeth. Razor sharp.
Yeah. What's so crazy too is like the landlocked striper here. Like a big one be like 10, 20. I mean, if you catch one 30 pounds, you done did some shit. But up there in the ocean, they get up like 100 pounds.
They gotta be 36 inches to keep out here, I think now. You gotta be 36 inches to keep.
Yeah, down here in freshwater, they only have to be 21 inches.
Wow. I ain't never seen that shit 21 out here. Doing 30, I think 32, 36 or something like that for the bluefish and the well, you catch the stripers. And I guess the tailors they let you get. Anything after like that size and stuff, that motherfucker gotta be 32, 36 inches. You get fined $1,000 an inch.
If all the striper here had to be 30, 32, 36 inches, you wouldn't be able to keep shit.
Yeah. Yup. That's how it is out here. And motherfuckers are tell on you and shit out here too. Hell yeah. Motherfuckers be on you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go somewhere everybody at. Motherfuckers find their business.
Yeah. Like our striper being landlocked, you don't need to be keeping no fish because what about whenever my grandkids will come out here and catch some striper?
I keep them up.
But there ain't no striper because you done fucking caught them all and killed them. You know?
Yep. I don't do it no more. I hardly ever do that. When I was younger and shit, fucking shit. Everything I catch, that's shit coming. That motherfucker coming with me.
I sent you to the frying pan. Yeah.
Yup. I caught a real big bass.
Well, I tell you what, Kelly,
website
you got any more questions on Omens or esoterical questions?
Right. Anybody in the chat got any questions?
Yeah. Anybody listening? How many people we got listening right now? It doesn't tell me.
Like 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, anybody got questions?
Went live. Wow, so I guess it's
Bring on the questions.
How can you? I don't know. I think you already asked that answer.
Hey, Lil John. I see that you're asking about High John root. I'm not really an authority on that one, man, because it's so mainstream, and maybe subconsciously I was always kind of against it because of how it's like marketed and stuff. But I know slightly some things about it. But I would hate to say the wrong thing. So let me do my research. Actually, my elder, the shaman, knows all about High John root, and that being one of the few things that I'm not too keen on. I would hate to butcher it for you, bud. But I will do my research, and I promise you, next time I'm on with Killer, I'll bring it up. Yeah, I'll get some, and I'll really do my research on it. King High John, he was supposed to be like a. Now I don't want to butcher it, but he was supposed to be like a slave that like freed himself. I think that's what it is, but I would hate to butcher it, man. I don't want to say something. High John root. It's supposed to bring like success, against high odds, like especially in court and stuff. Having High John root is a very popular herb. But like I said, I do know some about it, but I don't know enough about it to teach about it. So let me do my research, buddy. If you have any other questions, I'd love to answer them for you. Hell yeah!
There's
So
a lot of people selling
right, Little Murder. I was right about that.
Yeah, High John root, overcome hard times, fade away.
Yeah, because I grew up in a metaphysical shop. Feed it with rum. You're feeding the spirit of who that John guy was. Because I'm sure they had a lot of molasses, and you make rum with molasses, so that would definitely be his drink.
He broke up on me.
Shit, rum's my drink. Rum and gin. Yep, you're feeding the spirit of John himself that has been dedicated to that herb. I don't know the story behind the herb though, and I know it's a very rich cultural story, and I don't want to butcher it. And it's not something that I use personally because I have a little bit of a different style. But yeah, it's if you believe in what not the root itself, but what the root represents and the energy of that root, and even against all odds, that you will tap into the energy that is the High John root, John himself, and how against all odds he succeeded in his goals, and you basically walk in the footsteps. It's like carrying a cross for Jesus. It's the same exact principle. So consciously understanding why you're carrying that High John root in your pocket is how that works. And having a little bit of faith. Faith is a big one.
Oh, got it. Everything I'm pulling up, somebody's trying to sell it to me.
Yeah, and that may
No.
be why I don't really know a lot about it, because it was always pushed down my throat. You know, I'm a little bit of a rebel. You know what I'm saying? It's peddled, and it's unfortunately so, because the story I know is a wonderful story. I just don't remember enough to tell it.
Yeah.
You could look that up, Killer, and tell us the story real quick, bud.
Breaking up.
That's a wonderful topic.
What? What?
Hi, John Root.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it now.
Candle magic. Very awesome for omens. While you're looking up that High John Root, I'll talk about candle magic, Killer, if that's all right with you. What I like about candle magic, is based on the type and size candle. It's like a timer for your rituals. The colors can have very strong significance. if you so choose. Just because you got a red candle doesn't necessarily mean that that candle's got to be for some sort of love ritual. If you choose for that red to represent love, then it will. Okay. And what I also love about the element of fire, correlates with your willpower. Okay. And it correlates, at least in my medicine wheel magic, with the east, because we live on the East Coast and the sun rises in the east. I think I'm saying that right. Hang on. Yeah, I'm saying that right. And the reason why I don't do water to the east, I do water to the south, because I grew up around rivers and all the rivers run south. Okay. But what's wonderful about candle magic is not only does that flame represent your willpower, your desire and your will must be equal in order to commit a root or a high magic ritual, but it's also a form of divination, like tarot cards. The way that that flame can flicker in a room where there's no wind, yet it flickers and dances as if there's a draft. Okay, that is spiritual powers talking with you, and can and you can develop your own candle divination language in a way that the spirits can communicate with you through that little flame. And that in itself is like a omen, but you invite the omen to appear. You're like, okay, show me something. And through the facet and the physics of that fire is how, even on a quantum level, is how the metaphysical is able to communicate with us here in the physical. Any other questions on Candle Magic, Little Murder, while he's looking that up? Okay, cool. What's it say, Killer? You there, bud? Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, you back, bud?
Yeah.
I was done, buddy. If you wanna tell us what it was saying with that High John root. Little Murder, man. Hang on, let's talk about this High John root, and I'll answer some of those questions, okay, buddy? Little Murder's over here getting deep on us, boy. That mojo bag, I got a mouthful to say about that.
all gone.
What's going on, Killer? Everything good?
This damn thing.
It's all good. We
Okay,
we
all
we
right, all right, all right.
we here. We waiting.
Also called Conquering John. It's another
Yeah,
name
John the
for it.
Conqueror. That's right.
Oh my God, this is killing me.
Oh, got Neggy in the motherfucking house.
Word, oh shit.
What's up, Neggy? What's going on?
What up, Niggy? But I dropped the link for you. So. All right, I got it now. I got it.
Okay, cool. Let's go a little deeper on this John the Conqueror, and then I'll talk about some other things.
John the Conqueror, also known as High John the Conqueror, John Jack, and the other folk there. He's a folk hero from African American folklore. He's associated with a certain root, John the Conqueror root, John the Conqueror root, especially as Johnny Kuchu and the song Manage Boy.
Johnny,
And
what?
I'm your Hoochie Coochie man. And Manage Boy, the line is, I think I'll go act like that little conqueror. And I'm your Hoochie Coochie man. It's called the Johnny Conqueror. Folk hero, sometimes John is an African prince who was sold as a slave to the Americas.
I think
Despite
that's
his
what I was
enslavement,
told back in the day.
his spirit was never broken. He survived the folklore as a reluctant folk hero because of the tricks he played to evade those who played tricks on him. Joe Chandler Harris, Briar Rabbit of the Uncle Remus story, doing those who would do him in. Zora Neale Hurston wrote in his Adventures, High John the Conqueror, in her folklore collection, Sanctified Church. One tradition, John the Conqueror story told by Virginia Hamilton and probably based in Shaun the Soldier, Ellie, and Devil's daughter. John falls in love with the Devil's daughter. The Devil sets John a number of possible tasks. He must clear 60 acres of land in half a day, and then sow it with corn and reap it the other half of the day. The Devil's daughter furnishes John with a magical axe and plow to get these impossible tasks done, but warns John that her father, the Devil, needs to kill him even if he performs. John and the Devil's daughter steal the Devil's own horses, and the Devil pursues them, shape-shifting. Okay. England, for his people. He went back to Africa, but he left his power here and placed his American dwelling in a root of a certain plant. Only possess that root, and he can be summoned at any time.
Very rich folklore there.
Yep.
Very rich indeed. Very rich indeed. Hey, Little Murder asked if you can maybe find some pictures of High John himself. Maybe some murals or some paintings. That'd be pretty cool. I've actually never seen that. I don't think. Maybe I have on like the packaging where they're trying to sell you the High John root in the, in the incense shop or wherever. Well, while you do that, I'll ask one of the two questions that Little Murder asked, and if you don't mind, Little Murder, I like to talk about the Mojo Bag. And a wonderful video on my channel. If you go into my if you go to the shaman, his very first interview, you'll see like a bloodhound sniffing some draws. It's supposed to be funny, but you'll see that video where it's like the cut 'em loose, all exclusive interview with the shaman, where we talk about the metaphysical principles of many different herbs and things that you could find in a mojo bag. So a mojo bag is basically a blend or a different it's like a dark ball sack. Oh yeah, the Hydron root does look like a nut sack. I always thought that too as a kid. Like what's this thing that looks like a fucking nut sack? But yep, there he is. But
Yep.
get running away, coming free from the fucking man. But that's basically whoever makes the mojo bag, that's their personal blend of herbs and different metaphysical ingredients whose vibratory spiritual frequencies combine to form one, some could say, super powered frequency towards enabling you to achieve a certain goal, you know. But I welcome you to go look at that video, the shaman interview, where we talk about salt and we talk about iron and we talk about all different kinds of things, sage and tobacco and things of that, and it'll be very enlightening for you to watch, because the shaman keeps it fucking real, boy. That's one thing we always joke about. We got to get him on, but he's a little technologically disadvantaged, so it has to be a day where me and him are there together, which is more often than not. You know, I'm usually around him. As far as the oils,
That's cool. Yeah.
the oils are a wonderful tool.
Shalom,
Go ahead.
Killa. How's it going?
What's up, Negi?
What do you guys?
What's
I
up,
know you
Negi?
guys are looking at that, but are you guys talking about hoodoo in general or voodoo?
No, we're not talking about any particular spiritual practice. We're talking about omens in general.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I was talking about oils. What I like about oils, now different oils, of course, have their different vibratory frequencies that could, as far as the consensus view is concerned, can mean a certain thing. And as long as, like I said, you follow the law, you know, some things may slightly mean different things for other people. It just depends. But what I love about oils is it plays into the numerology of magic. 3 drops, 7 drops, 5 drops, 2 drops, 1 drop, you know, and then it goes into christening the the candle. Maybe like you're probably asking about candles and oils, where you go and you get a candle charged. You know, they'll do a certain number of drops, which will mean a certain thing. I like to use olive oil myself, and then you'll see them do circles, and they'll go counterwise or counterclockwise, and that's just like in the shaman's second interview on my channel, where he talks about the flow of energy and the counterflow of energy. Positively charged, negatively charged. Doesn't mean evil. Okay, it means negatively charged. It's like the wire on the battery of your car. And this is getting into someone's personal recipe for candle magic. And like I said, Lil Murder, we can do a whole video on this, and I can go hard in the paint on this. But that's just a generalization for you, buddy. And go check out those shaman interviews on my channel, and that'll definitely answer some of your questions. Oh, Lord P, crystals and salts. Woo-hoo. Again. That's I mean, what crystal and what salt? You know what I'm saying? Let's get specific here. Maybe I can answer your question. Maybe I can't. What exactly? What crystals and salts are we talking about? You know.
I think she just wanted to tell you. I'm not sure. I think she was. Let's see what she said.
I would say,
Oh,
I would say
okay.
generally
Okay,
too. I would say generally, crystals are conduits that put out. They're like radios that put out their own frequencies that have their own particular patterns, and these frequencies can play into different roots or rituals or whatever you're trying to achieve. Some better than others, depending on what you use them for. And salt. Again, P, go watch my second interview with Shaman on on my second interview with Shaman on my channel, and we go deep into salt. We talk about salt the whole time. Salt being like a barrier. I've always said that salt is like, y'all ever watch Survivor Man whenever he was in the Serengeti and he created a ring of thorns to protect him, and it was like it would deter the lions from getting to him, but if the lions really wanted to get his ass and they want to get pricked up by them thorns, they could. you know that's a pretty, it's a poor metaphor, but it'll do for now. And of course, you got to take into the account of the black being a very strong protective color. But remember, the thing we've been talking about with mythos, things of that, black being like nothing or darkness, and that is where things are created. And then there was light, where they say that God created the universe, where everything was created from nothing. And it also has a lot of protective qualities, like we talk about hematite and obsidian and things of that nature. I mean, even think about the caveman using obsidian on the tips of his spear. That's how they protected themselves, with a solid black glassy mineral that was very sharp and they could use to protect themselves. So kind of look into it like that, but go check out that video for sure. For sure. Gold is money. Shit. I should have invested in gold when I had the money to do it. Now all my money's tied up in trees. And I would say this is what just came to my mind about gold, Little Murder. If you think about the three strongest conduits for electricity, three metals come to mind: silver, which is the most, copper, and gold. Now, why is this? Is because on a atomic level, the structure of these elements are very organized, which means that there is a clear bridge from one atom to the next for the electricity to travel through. So I would say in order to, well, I'll get to that in a minute there, Little Murder. In order to make money, can't we all agree that you need to be organized and have your ducks in a row? Your little gold ducks in a row? I believe everyone would say, yeah, you can't be chaotic and save your money and make money. You have to have a plan, a structure. Well, on an atomic level, that gold is very structured, just like copper and silver. That's right. And on Sunday, I mean, let's think about it here. It's more of a cultural thing. Sunday, the sun, gold representing the sun. That's more of a cultural thing. There's really no such thing as a Sunday. That's something that we've designed on our own. But since money is the necessary evil that is which is really our enslavement by ourselves. You know, it plays into where everyone is at in their own minds and in their own individual universes, that yes, Sunday would be the best day to do a ritual, especially pertaining to money, especially if you're using gold.
My bad, y'all. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Before I dropped off and shit by accident, the crystals. Crystals also used like in radios and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, there's gold in your computer and silver.
Yeah, and your
Platinum.
full with the radio controlled cars and stuff. When I was a kid, I learned that they use crystals for the frequency of the what you have, not your servo, your transmitter. It would have a chip in there with a crystal, I guess, on it.
Yeah. Oh, what you're talking about is high level engineering. And it would be like a sliver of a crystal, like a quartz. It's usually quartz,
Right.
Or some other one. I forgot what the other one is, but it's usually quartz or some other like man-made crystal where they make it themselves. And depending on the dimensions of the slice of that crystal is going to be generally the frequency that you're trying to produce.
Right. Because you have two of them. You have one for your controller, and then you have one for the car or the RC truck that you got.
Yep, that's it, man. That's it.
And the quartz, just like you said, it's quartz.
Yep, it's quartz. And quartz is the universal conduit.
And when you would race, everybody would have to make sure they have a different one. So like their controllers won't cross up with the other ones.
Yep.
All different frequencies.
Yep, that's cool that you know that, man. A lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm. So what up, Nagy?
Yeah, Nagy, what it do, man? What's good with it?
Oh, not a whole lot. I just thought I'd jump on.
Yeah, all right. You get to check out that book I sent you?
Which one?
I sent it to you on your Twitter. Yeah, I sent you a screenshot from it.
If I didn't, then I will. I'll look at it.
Yeah, it's called The Canon. That's the name.
Okay.
It's called The Canon. It goes into like the whole like a lot of esoteric like shit like masonry.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that is the stuff that I love. So yeah, I'll look into it.
Hey, excuse me, guys. Little Murder just said something super cool. He's like, "Fuck the moon," which don't fuck the moon. Maybe for what you're doing, fuck the moon. From working with the sun, I learned that from Medicine Man. So let me break it down to you like this. Let me put you on some motherfucking game real quick. And I ain't telling you to do what I do. I'm actually telling you don't do what I do. Okay. Because I don't know your level. But when you're talking about working with the sun, a lot of your demonic forces in the Goetia, like for example, King Baal, he's attuned with the sun. Middle of the day shit. His rituals go down in the middle of the day. So yeah, and he's all about money and court and business. You have to go back, and I talk about King Baal as my patron spirit that I work with. And I'll say it again, I've always said he's like a old rich granddad that wants to see you do good, but he's not going to just give it to you. You know, that's how he's portrayed to me. That's that vibe. Like he's like a granddad. You know, this got his ducks, his little gold ducks in a row. Okay. And yes, he is a spirit of the sun.
So you got to cleanse the crystals before working.
Yeah, you don't, because crystals, especially quartz, they take in whatever they receive. You know, they're not like other minerals that already, for better or worse, have their own frequency. Now, I'm not saying that you don't cleanse them too. You do, because when it comes to vibes, okay, that's what the young people call it today. Oh, this is a vibe. This is a whatever. Well, they're talking about the same thing that we're talking about. The vibe. Like, for example, when I got these rooms today, I went and while my guys was working on the trees, I went in both rooms and I picked the room. The rooms are very nice and they're identical, but I picked the room with the best vibe. Okay. Like, for example, some fuck shit may have happened in that other room over there, just the vibe. So you definitely want to cleanse people's vibes because there's a lot of people that are fucked up, which we all know this. I mean, look who I'm talking to here,
Yeah.
and what we're dealing with on the other side over there. But, and there's different ways of cleansing as well, but that's a deep topic.
I'm gonna get a copy of that book.
Nagy, you got anything to interject, buddy? You got anything to say?
No, not really. I'm just listening at this point.
Okay,
But
cool. All right, cool. I just want to give you a
if I
chance.
hear if I hear something that I think is worth commenting on, I'll jump in.
Okay, bud. Sounds good. Well, P, that's right. But just like if you look on those videos, you're going to see that I got a lot to say about salt and sage, especially sage. And I'll go ahead and drop this information on you right now. Yeah, Little Murder. If you're working with the Shim Angels, please go check out that video, Angels and Demons. We talked about it for 3 hours, bud. But the one thing that you have to understand with sage is yes, sage does banish or clean negative energy. Okay, but a lot of people, I just burnt sage in my house. Okay, I don't mean to be rude, but that's kind of retarded, and I'm gonna tell you why. So when you burn sage and you're banishing whatever negative vibe in the space that you're cleansing that you don't like, is essentially the same as you're getting all the bugs out of your house, but then you're leaving the doors and windows open. You essentially create a void. So after you burn that sage, you have to fill that spot with something else, something positive,
Yeah.
whether it be lavender or a candle or some cedar or some tobacco, some good tobacco. Not a cigarette.
Can I just piggyback off of that?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's the concept you read about in the New Testament, where it says, after demons have been driven out of a person, then it's like a nicely swept house. So all these other demons come along and they see this nicely prepared space. They go in there and they make it worse than it was before.
That's right.
So that's very interesting that you say it that way.
Wow, and that's cool
I just had to
that
jump
you're able
in.
to pull that from and that's cool that you're able to pull that from a legitimate doctrine, man. That's cool. Yeah,
Yes.
and see, and what is, and that's what I preach. I'm more into like nature versus books. But there's, like I was telling y'all before, there's nothing wrong with the Bible and the Torah and all these other books. You have to read between the lines, and him saying that is a perfect example. And I would say, yes, that is exactly true. So hell yeah.
So that's very interesting how people will read that and they'll skip right over it, but you have an actual interesting application.
Right, and then they go burn sage in their house and they leave a nice big empty space for some other negative vibratory frequency to fill that spot.
Exactly. That's cool.
Yeah, man.
Little Murder said,
Psalms 91. That's that shit. That's that hardcore gangster shit right there. Yeah. I like the Psalms 90s. All the ones in the 90s I do enjoy. I can't read them verbatim, but I know what the vibe is about.
I think that's what Judah Nazareth used to curse us. I think that's what.
Well, that's some powerful shit, but he was doing it unjustly, so it's not going to work.
Yeah, you got to remember that if you use those as curses, you have to do preliminary rituals before, because That's dangerous stuff.
Very dangerous.
If you have anything on you, like anything negative, you can actually make your situation 100 times worse.
That's correct. Psalms 91 and the others that are around there, very powerful. I've actually seen those firsthand go down.
There and
Extremely powerful.
there's a book called the 67th Book of Moses. And basically it's like a book and it got all the Psalms in there. And the Psalms are used for certain say use this Psalm to get rid of your neighbor, get rid of some motherfucker. Use this Psalm if you want to do this. Use this Psalm.
I've heard of that. That's a hoodoo manual.
It was written, I think, in the 1400s. I think.
There's interesting references in it, but it purports to be written by Moses, but it has references that are distinctly Christian.
Yeah,
so you can't really even believe the mythology, but it's 100% an interesting book.
Yeah, yep. I got it. I think I have it.
Oh, you do. I think you've mentioned it before. That is.
But you'd have had it on this table.
Oh, he asked about altars, y'all.
He asked about altars.
Actually, this episode tonight almost was about altars. Yeah. Almost, because me and Caleb was talking about it earlier.
And you know what's crazy about the idea of creating one? You basically are creating a place where you can send things up and bring them down. So
yeah, you essentially create a gateway, a door, a portal, if you will,
an elevator of sorts. So
that can go up or down. That's correct. So altars, I would say anyone that's not experienced, unless you're doing it about ancestors that you actually knew, like maybe your grandma that's passed or something like that, I would recommend that you don't, unless you're doing it for maybe like extremely benevolent entities like Jesus or extremely benevolent spirits that are about unconditional love and forgiveness, because altars can get tricky. It's something. It's like you become responsible once you create an altar, and a lot of people, they like to lie to themselves whenever the tough gets going, when it's time to do what you got to do with that altar. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just trying to feed my spirituality. This ain't real.
Oh, you want to hear something kind of funny related to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
There are little rules that people don't think about. There's things you gotta like make sure you don't do. Like I'll give you the one that came to mind just right now.
Okay.
If you have an altar, you have to have it in a place where it won't be around profane activities. Like people will have these in their bedroom, and it just cracks me up because like people have sex in their bedroom, or they do other things in their bedroom, or they're naked and such. That's the profane activity I'm talking about that could offend the entities that you have enshrined in your altar. Yeah. So they can actually punish you for that.
Well, if you're going to have an altar in your bedroom where you have lots of sex, I would dedicate.
I'm just saying, even if you're not doing that, even if you're doing other things, depending on the severity of what you're doing, you can actually get in trouble for offending those things, those entities.
For sure.
I heard that too.
Yeah, that's true. But it plays into the law of correspondence. The spirits are just like us. Different spirits like different stuff.
They said,
of course,
to have it in a place where no one is gonna be there, like in the room, like you'll have it in a closet somewhere. Or like, you know what I mean? Or a room that's just dedicated to that. Nobody goes in that room.
Exactly. That's the idea. You have it away from profane people and away from profane thoughts, activities, that kind of thing.
Hey, let me respond to Lil Murder. We can have altars to the Most High. So, are you talking about some omnipotent creator of all things, or do you have a name for this Most High you're speaking of? Who is the Most High to you? Is what I'm asking.
I think you think it saying it in a biblical sense, like
Yeah.
God, Bible.
Yes, that's right, P. Once you create an altar, and depending on the spirit that you're working with, that spirit may require offering. It may want to feed on the vibe of some rum or some tobacco or some weed or whatever, because I'll say the creator, that one ultimate divine spirit that is the seed of all things, as an occultist, as a whole, I sort of have a problem with, because if I was the creator, I wouldn't allow children to be tortured and raped and murdered, and I wouldn't allow these unspeakable abominations to take place. I would have created some sort of physical facet to the fabric of our reality that impedes any of that bullshit. Right. So I would say the Most High in the Torah is actually, now, this is just my personal opinion, not trying to offend anyone, but since I'm the guest and we're talking about the occult, I would say that the Most High of the Torah, which is, I guess y'all would call Yahweh. Is that right, Negi?
I would call him Yahweh, but I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Would you say he's malevolent in your opinion?
Um, I would say, um, now, is the Most High in the Torah the same as the Most High in the Bible?
I would say both yes and no, but it depends on how you read it. I've seen different doctrines that definitely make it seem like there's two different books
Yeah.
or
For
two
sure.
different entities.
Because no matter where you're at on Earth or on the universe, for that matter, the creator is the creator, no matter what you say,
Yeah.
But when you're reading from a particular doctrine, either that is a spirit that existed before man, or it could even be an egregore of sorts. So you know what that is, Negi?
Oh yeah, it's a entity created by people's belief.
Right, by a group of people. That's correct.
Yes, yes, and
So
the thing is, there's lots of those. There's even whole egregores around religions.
right. So yes, little murder, I would say there's free will, but whenever you're the creator of all things, that is a program that was built into the fabric of our reality. We're talking about going from nothing to something here. That energy that did that.
Yep.
No matter what book you read from, I'm talking about. Let's say you're a sentient being that doesn't know who you are, what you are, where you come from, and you appear on some planet by yourself, and you're sentient enough to know that there is some sort of being that created all things. What are you going to say then? You got to kind of think about it like that.
Something I wanted to ask. Thank you about how would you associate that Temple Band bullshit with the Lima?
The what now?
That's the day.
I wouldn't these days, especially after that debate Judah had. I really feel that that whole idea was weak. I know it is.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I used to think that was a cool idea because it was novel for its time. But
Yeah.
the real weird thing is once I realized that I already knew that that wasn't in the Torah, there wasn't the words temple man in the Torah.
Right.
That killed it. So I started studying the real temple, and I came to an interesting conclusion. You don't need drawings of it. You don't need drawings of the altar. You can read about it. You can read about the dimensions that are found in the Torah, and those tell you infinitely more with the numbers.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
there's a whole dimension to this that can't be communicated in drawings or the way Judah does things. So I might have to get into that on my channel, but of course he's going to be mad. He thinks I've thrown Yahweh to the side, which isn't true. I haven't done that, so I'm going to go into some of that stuff. That's just my thoughts, but yeah. No more Temple Man and no more Thelema, though.
All right.
Well, let me
I want
respond
to
a
show
little
you
bit.
just a screenshot I took out of the book.
While you do that, I want to respond to Little Murder. I would say,
I
Little
found
Murder, that
this was
free will being an actual program in the fabric of reality, and that we are all God. We are all the creator. We're called what's called a monad, or an archetype of a one face of many faces that is God. So that's why I say God as a whole, which includes all living things on this planet and all the other planets. That I kind of have a fucking problem, because if I was the creator, I wouldn't allow abominations to occur. And maybe that's coming from an emotional standpoint, because I love children. I'm a father myself. And maybe I just can't even fathom the thought of hurting a child or anything that's innocent at all. And maybe I'm being a pussy,
yeah.
maybe I'm being a pussy, because evil and violence is subjective after all.
I can't really blame you for feeling the way you feel. I don't have kids myself, but I kind of feel defensive. So when I hear people talk about pedophiles, I get a little bit angry. I mean, I get pretty angry.
Yeah,
Most people do.
I want to beat their brains out with a hammer, let me tell you.
Yeah. That's most people. Their reaction. So we're in agreement. We're not about to give any of these people rights anytime soon. We're about to give them the right to run as fast as they can.
Yeah.
The right to run as fast as they can before my bullet catches them.
Well,
But anyway, yeah.
we have a wonderful system called prison.
Oh yeah, we have a wonderful system called prison. That's
and
true.
these pedophiles, they I think their average lifespan is what, like 2 days.
If that, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah,
But I just had to comment on that. But I
yeah,
hate
for
those
sure,
guys
man.
too.
So as an occultist, that's my standpoint on it. I don't worship anything. I'm not a worshiper. Whenever I do works with Baal or Ogun, it's an agreement. It's like hiring an attorney. It's like my friend, my associate. You know.
Yeah, this is great. So
Yeah, when you get into different levels of the soul, Little Murder, I mean, that'd be a great video for another time. I'd like to study up on that because I'm a little fuzzy. But I'd like to see the Hebrew version of that, and then we can go into many other cultures and how all that corresponds and lines up with each other.
yeah.
That'd be cool. What we got here, Killer? What we got on the screen here, bud?
It was something I took from that book.
Let's see.
Talked about the cube, and he used how the cross, was a cube unfolded.
Uh-huh.
And it was. I was flipping through the book, and I ran into this. You see it, Niggy?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I see it sort of. Yeah. It's funny how people say that you can unfold a cube into a cross, and they do that with the Saturn symbolism.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. I like to look into that.
And this book, let me see if I can pull. So it's called The Canon by William Burling. If I got like a.
Hey, Lil Murder, if you can extrapolate on that, I welcome you to join us, man, and maybe you can teach me something.
Yeah, you get the link. Get the link in there.
You've been asking some really cool, awesome questions, man, and I'd love to hear your perspective and your side of things.
Oh shit! Hell no, we ain't gonna tell you nothing about that temple, man.
Oh yeah. I don't want to even talk about that stuff because it's. I'll have to go into it and debunk it. I gotta teach the Temple Mount, not the Temple Man.
Yeah. We keep that shit under wraps like an FBI file and shit. It will be 40 years when we release that motherfucker.
Yeah. So if you hear me talk temple anything, it's gonna be the conception of it, not the drawing of it.
They're gonna link word come in. Yeah, right? For real. Yeah, we keep that shit under wraps. We can let that shit get out.
I don't even know what y'all talking about, man, to be honest with you.
We're talking about Judah's novel doctrine about the little drawing he created.
You know, I was jokingly saying that you drew those for him, Neggy.
No. The funny thing is, they are crude drawings, but at the time they were very effective.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what a joke is. For sure.
Yeah. Because I recently learned about you and Judah and stuff, so all this shit is so new to me, you know. So I had jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
of
still got
course.
jokes.
I understand. People talk about me all the time in different ways. I don't mind.
Well, you're a very polarizing and interesting individual.
Yes. People who don't know me, or even people who know me, like with Judah now, all he thinks about is the negative things that he's seen in me. He thinks I'm a racist. He thinks everything negative he can.
But you was over there the whole time being all those things.
Yeah. It was so weird because now he's saying, "Oh, and Negus does all these borderline racist things," and I'm like, man, you didn't care back then. You even laughed. You were laughing every time I'd say something like that.
Yeah.
Like you'd laugh if you laugh at jokes. That doesn't necessarily mean you agree with them, but it does mean that you find them funny. I mean, I don't know. It just seems hypocritical. Now that I'm not licking his nuts, he's full of hatred of me.
I've been real busy. Has he made any responses to you like leaving?
He has. He's talked about me briefly. But the thing is, I know he's angry. I know he's bitter.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know, that's just really weird. He's commented he commented on the video I made, saying now you can go practice witchcraft openly. I have no intention of practicing witchcraft.
Well, I'm kind of like the authority on that.
Well,
You know
I'm just saying I have no intention of practicing witchcraft like he thinks.
Right.
He thinks I'm a snake. He thinks I'm a serpent.
Well,
Worse.
that's kind of my name.
He's gonna been over for Aleister Crowley, and he you should have heard him, man, on that video, yo. He was in our asses, yo. That motherfucker was mad as fuck. He was shaking, his head was bobbing and shit. Motherfucker was sweating.
Is that the one where he had his hat tilted to the side, that gray hat?
He had no hat on last night.
Oh, I saw one video, man, where he had that weird 90s looking hat.
Yeah.
Motherfucker looking like
wait. So wait, when did this happen, Killer?
Oh, yesterday and shit.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah, I will, like I said, remember when I swore on you how never go on his panel?
I know.
I plan on holding to that. I'm not going on his panel ever again.
That motherfucker went in.
Well, I tell you what, Daggy, from your perspective, as far as like the genocide part of the Hebrew Israelites is concerned, do you believe that this is an order from Yahweh?
If it was, it was a very serious order, and the people that were killed, I'd like to think many of them were doing something that merited it, but there's not really any proof, which makes it kind of questionable.
Because if that's true, then I would say it's an extremely malevolent spirit.
Yeah, well,
Because genocide is a bad thing.
you see, my perspective is that even if Yahweh is not 100% good as we see good, that doesn't change the fact that he's still scary, and I don't want to make him mad. So
Right.
I I kind of approach him that way. I approach him with that kind of
Well,
respect.
I'll say egregores that have a lot of conscious thought into them can be extremely powerful because they have a lot of they have a lot of juice. They got
Hmm.
a lot of people that believe in them.
So the way I see it, he's almost like Brahma. So I see no difference between the two, and people can take that how they want to. But I
Well, you know
see
they will. So whatever.
I see both both describe gods that are in the universe.
Because I promise you, if you've got a bunch of people that look like Judah Nazareth trying to fight a bunch of people that look like me,
Well,
it's not going to go very well. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but the thing is, I really don't get tripped up on details. I don't mind using other people's names for things. So,
Yeah. That's interesting, little murder. I wish you could jump on, buddy. I'd love to hear your side, but I understand that your Wi-Fi sucks. And who exactly are the Canaanites again? If you can please refresh my memory.
I think they were like a pagan people that lived in, where Egypt is, of
Oh,
course.
they never mind. The Canaan they worship Baal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they worshipped.
Yeah,
No,
that's my pagan spirit. Yeah,
the word Baal is a title and not a name.
right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
the
Well, my
name,
pagan spirit is King Baal, which is an archetype or another face of Baal, which is another face of Beelzebub. It's all the
mm-hmm.
same. Yeah, Baal,
It,
Hadad, Baal Zebul. I know all that stuff.
mm-hmm. So the funny thing about that is they were almost like the Egyptians. So when the time came for Israel to come out of Canaan, they became a monotheistic version
Right,
of the Canaanites. So that's why there's a slight variation between them and the Canaanites.
right.
And this is all allegorical to some extent, but there is some reality to it. So it's a
Right.
mix.
So, little murder. If so, it with the Most High and the Torah being pure righteousness, why is there such a push for the genocide whenever Jesus is supposed to come down and grant powers to the Hebrew Israelites and so that they can basically wipe out all the heathens?
You want to hear where that comes from? That comes from a there was a feeling among, and I'm using this word without I'm using this word correctly. Jewish. There was a Jewish element that was developing at the time,
Right,
and this was because of the Romans. The Romans didn't understand how the Hebrew people thought, so they came up with this concept called Judaism, which
right,
is like they thought that was the ethnic like ideology of the people. So they
right.
described it that way, the ideology of Judah. So what you have is you have this element called Judaism, and that was
Okay.
in opposition to Rome, even though it was basically going along with their way of understanding other cultures.
So let me get this right. So they took a polytheistic tradition and switched it around to be monotheistic.
Essentially, yes, they mixed cultures,
Okay.
and that produced a new culture which was against its parent culture. So you had Romans who were against Rome, or people who were a mix of Roman and Hebrew who had ideological opposition to Roman religion.
Yeah.
So that's because they had ideological opposition to Roman religion, they had a new idea that with the help of the god they now called on, they would be able to destroy Rome.
We're talking about that's One West camps.
One West camps are a branch of they're essentially the Protestant church. So when you look at them, you have to look at them like that.
Right.
So you have baggage from the Catholic Church, which came from Rome. Like I said, the Roman religion that was created but became opposed to Rome. And then that split off into another thing, which, like I said, the Protestant Church. And
Right.
then the baggage you carry from the original Roman thing is still there. So they
Yeah.
believed in that violent Messiah that's going to come and deliver them.
I figured out, Little Murder. You're too smart. I can tell you're too smart to be believing.
And
all
One
that stuff.
West kind of absorbed that. So
Okay. Okay.
All these motherfuckers come out of that shit once way, shape, or form. Like Nikki said, they all hold the baggage of the motherfuckers back
yeah,
then.
so you have a whole bunch of little things that go back to the mother church of Rome, and they're found even in those One West camps.
Right. That one guy, if Azazel was bound in another dimension, how can he be bound underneath the Giza pyramids unless you're saying that the portal to that dimension is underneath the Giza pyramids? But I don't know. I've never heard nothing about that, unfortunately, there, buddy.
One guy says,
I don't know where Azazel is, but he's anywhere he wants to be. He's anywhere he's
Azazel is very powerful, negatively charged divine spirit for sure.
mhm. And
Um,
you can tell that because at the very beginning of the name you have Oz, which means strength.
wow, I didn't know that, man. That's cool.
Yeah, Oz is
And he was the leader. What's that group called? The Nephilim?
oh yeah, Nephilim means
He was the
the
leader of
ones
the
who
Nephilim, correct?
yeah, the ones who descended. So yeah.
Little Murder. I got a question, Little Murder. I got a question. Do you believe the blacks in Americas are Canaanites? That's the question of the hour.
If they were Canaanites, that would mean they were people who never became Israel. So they never became Yashar.
Now let me put you on this. I did hear that there was an African tribe or culture that believed in a face of Baal or Baal or Beelzebub.
I believe that.
I did hear that. I don't know too much about it, but that kind of plays into what question you're asking there, Killer.
I'm waiting for an answer.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no to your question, but maybe Lil Murder knows more than I do.
There's a certain reason I'm asking.
Oh, it's an inside joke.
It's half joke, half serious. I think you know what I'm getting at this shit. I think you know what I'm getting at. Anyway, let's continue on. Caught me. Goddamn, it could have been caught me. I know Nagy know where I was getting at too. So,
Well, maybe y'all can extrapolate on me. Y'all know I'm new to this.
yeah, I hit you to it at another time. So I hit you to it.
All right, man. Give me hip to the game now.
Yeah. Yeah, that came book. Let's see if I can. I was fucking tripping. Dang.
Wow, Lil Murder, man. I wish you could jump on, bro. Damn. Now I'm intrigued.
Yup, you one of them.
All right, man. Cat's out the bag. What's up?
Nah. A lot of the Hispanic Hebrew Israelites, like, what happened, right? Crazy cult, what people call One West and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? They made up this shit saying that the North American South American Indians, West Indians, and Negroes are all part of the nation of Israel. Make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, right? And that the African Americans came on the slave ships. The Negroes came on the slave ships, like the tribe of Judah, right? We got the Jamaicans, or the tribe of Benjamin. We got like Puerto Ricans, the tribe of Ephraim, and all this shit, right? But they say the other nation, like the 10 tribes, because there was in the Southern Kingdom, there was 2 tribes. There were Judah, and they had Levi, and Levi was on both sides. You know what I mean? When the North left, they took priests too, so they was on both sides. But it counted as 2 in the Southern Kingdom, and they got the 10 in the Northern Kingdom, right? The Northern Kingdom went into the Assyrian captivity. After the Assyrian captivity, in the book of Apocrypha, this is where they get. Well, anyway, let me back up a little bit. The dude in Harlem, New York, made up the shit just to get people to listen to him. Just to get motherfuckers to listen to him, right?
Yeah.
Even before him, like the Rabbi Winsworth, they didn't believe Hispanics and all that shit, right? They just believe his motherfucking ass came from Nigeria or whatever. It was like a philosopher. You had like the Americans here, he was teaching they was right. So fast forward to the next dude, Albert Bivens, he made the sign saying that Puerto Ricans, Native American Indians, and all these motherfuckers was Israelites too. He was from the South, so he was used to being around Indians and different people, and he came up north. And he only made that sign just for marketing purposes, to get people coming from church in Harlem, New York, right? They're not staying away from their pastor. You got to be kicking some game. So they was kicking that game. And motherfuckers walk by like, what? I wanted to keep with the Bible? I thought I ain't from Africa.
Yeah.
And they stopping and listening, right?
Yeah.
And he, one of his people that he knew that worked right beside him, he said, why are you telling the people this? You know that ain't real. He said, I know it ain't real. But that's what I do. That's what I got to do to get them in.
Jeez.
I do to get them in. So he ended up getting murdered or dying, right? And the Arya, Asha and all them, took it over. They made that sign into facts, saying that yes, all the motherfuckers is Israelites. And then shit happened from there, right? So now we got Puerto yup, hell yeah, gonna tell the truth too. Gonna tell the truth.
You know how dumb that sounds?
Yeah.
It sounds like if the Hebrew Israelites and the Mormons had a baby.
Exactly.
And you know, you wouldn't be too far off with that. At least 1 or 2 camps use the Book of Mormon to justify their doctrine.
Oh my God! I was telling the most absurd joke I can think of. Now you're telling me that it's true.
I'm telling you that there was at least 1 camp they used the Book of Mormon, which is mind blowing.
Hey, whatever it takes to get people to join your cult, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can create a cult based off anything. I mean, even that stuff that I used to study could be used as a cult.
Yeah. Taking this motherfucker down, right? Right?
Yeah.
This shit down. So these motherfuckers took the shit as truth. And from there, all the fuck shit started, right? And then you had splits that happened. You had motherfuckers saying, oh, these other tribes, they ain't no motherfucking Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and all that shit. And Native American Indians. Say only the motherfuckers from Africa are Israelites, right? So you had a little group that was with who's the niggas and shit. I think that's who Fopi is now. Not Fopi, is it Hashar's camp? House of David, one of them motherfuckers and shit. They rock with that. And then you still had Zabak's camp was basically the same teachers as the head school. And then you had like Tahar and all that, right? And Tahar was teaching reincarnation and shit. I don't know what other school teach that shit too. Tahar would teach that motherfuckers are the same motherfuckers who was back then. ancient times. All right, back to these motherfuckers, right? Now that they done gave the Puerto Ricans and the Mexicans and all that shit the key to the city, now they done come up with their own little shit saying that the niggas ain't Israelites.
Oh shit.
That we Canaanites and we supposed to be slaves.
Oh fuck.
They done let all the Chachis take over the Hebrew Israelites and shit. So now they got this
hell no.
niggas running around saying, "Oh, y'all Negroes ain't no Israelites. Y'all Canaanites." And see, that's why I asked them that, right?
So okay. So let me say this. I saw a video with Judah Nazar when I first started being your friend and being around and stuff. And Judah Naz came up with a term called a Negridomite. Is he calling the Canaanites Negridomites?
Yeah. See, now,
oh shit.
Now, Little Murder, remember I asked him before, and he said, I don't believe blacks in Americas are Israelites. He said that he don't believe that, right?
Right.
And then that's when I tested him, right? And then he said, most of them are from Canaan. So that means only a few niggas and shit that's cool enough to be Israelites. That what that shit means.
Right.
They done switched the whole shit around and shit. See, look, now this is where I'm gonna get his ass and shit. See, he talking now. See, a lot of Latinos are Israelites. Their descent comes from the Jews in Spain, right?
Yeah.
They said Mexican Jesus will save you. Your ass, motherfucker.
The
Right?
Father, Son, and the Holy Jesus.
This is why I beat up on that shit. They said that the 10 tribes came over here from the Apocrypha, where it says that after Assyrian captivity, they went to a land where no man has ever been or no man has ever owned or knew about. And the name of it was called Assyria, right? And when they left the Syrian captivity, where Syria is, that
right.
they went east. They went east, right? They crossed the Euphrates. They crossed another river. Then it was it was a year and a half that it took them to travel to the Americas. These so-called Americas, that's what they claim. It was the Americas, right?
Yeah.
Now, in the school, they taught us they went left. I mean, they went west and went through the Mediterranean, went through the, what's they call that shit, the Southern Gibraltar or whatever. They went through that.
Right.
And they went out into the Americas and shit. They said God split the waters because they backed it up with a so-called journal from some explorer that said when he landed on the Yucatan Islands, they said the Indians said that we came from a land from the east and said God split the waters so we could get over here. So that's what they used to back up that they came from the Syrian Empire from here, right? But they went east, not west.
Yeah.
In the first place, at that time, there's nobody that had an ocean-bearing ship. Nobody had an ocean-bearing ship. The first people to have an ocean-bearing ship were the Chinese people, right? Now, it said it crossed the Euphrates, then it crossed another river. And then from there, they said it was a year and a half before they got there. Or from the time they left. One of the two, right?
Yeah.
Now, my question is, if they went east, their asses would have been way out in motherfucking Asia. Know what I'm saying? And
Is that where the Orthodox Jews and Russian stuff come from?
huh? What you say?
Is that where the Orthodox Jews and Russian stuff come from?
I don't know about that shit. I don't know.
Okay.
But it said it took them a year and a half to get there. Did they walk? Did they walk? Obviously, it say that shit on there. They walk, right? But the Hebrew Israelites would come up and say they use ships. Now, we know there was no ocean-bearing ships at that time, right? And these people was already working with metals.
Yeah.
Right? Now, and it said it took them a year and a half. So motherfuckers walking for a year and a half, right? You still wouldn't have got to motherfucking America. Even if they had a bridge going over the Pacific Ocean. Now, if they took boats, now they done switched it up and say they came down through the Indian Ocean and went around Africa and all that shit. That shit take way longer than a motherfucking year and a half, nigga. And you got to build those motherfucking boats. And you had to build those motherfucking boats. And you had to gather all the resources and all that shit to build those motherfucking boats. And those shits wasn't even, they didn't have no boats that could go across the goddamn ocean.
And that's historically proven?
Yes, there's no historical evidence that a motherfucker floated their ass over to Americas before Christopher Columbus and the motherfucking Asian motherfuckers on the West Coast.
Yeah. Huh.
Right? Now, it said it took a year and a half. Now, we know that Native American Indians been in the South and North America for goddamn thousands of years.
That's right. That's exactly right.
In the Stone Age, they got tools and stuff from the Stone Age tools. Primitive stuff, right?
The Clovis people.
They was already working with metals. So you trying to tell me they lost their culture on how to do metallurgy and all that bullshit in a year and a half?
Right. You're right. Yep. That debunks it right there.
Age to a goddamn Stone Age.
Yep. Natives didn't have horses or metal until Europeans came.
And they got artifacts. When they left Assyria? They left Assyria.
Well, iron. They had gold in South America, but they didn't. There was no ironworks.
Right. When did they left Assyria? Let's see here.
What are Pashtuns?
Pashtuns?
Little Murder said, I believe Pashtuns are Israelites. I'm not familiar with that.
Those are people from Afghanistan.
I know
who he's talking about because I've heard of them.
That's right. They're in the neighborhood.
They're the native people who lived there before the Arabs came and brought Islam.
Now,
and they actually have an interesting whole culture. But yeah, I can hold off.
Okay, cool.
A lot of those claims that people make of these people being Israelites and stuff like that, it be from Jews themselves coming there and converting these people. And like somebody showed me earlier on like some writings that some dude did on the Mexican antiquities and all this shit, right? And it was saying, oh, they had customs like Jewish people. You motherfuckers in Africa. You find motherfuckers in North America, South America, fucking Asia, motherfucking Russia, all over the motherfucking world that use customs like the Israelites did. So you can't use, these motherfuckers. Just like the dude in that debate the other day. He said, they found this place right here. It didn't have no pork bones. They didn't find any pork bones there. So they're Israelites. You know what I mean? It's like claims like that. Oh, there was Israelites because they didn't find no pork bones. The Egyptians didn't eat pork. So if they dig up something in Egypt, they're going to say, oh, those are motherfucking Israelites. You motherfuckers is crazy. It's like a lot of bugged out. Like, if people don't realize how pseudo this shit is. Like, they don't realize how pseudo a lot of the claims that they get and what the books they're getting these claims from actually are trying to say or actually saying.
Right.
There'll be somebody just saying, oh, these motherfuckers have similar customs to the Hebrews that are like in the Bible. That don't mean no motherfuckers is Israelites. And then what about the other shit they do? Like they talk about a Khan tribe that had the breastplate. I'm like, okay, so if he was an Israelite, why were they the main tribe selling black people into slavery? And they was Israelites. They got the priest there with the fucking breastplate and all that bullshit. I thought Africans stole Israelites into slavery. These motherfuckers is crazy. They just come up with all kinds of shit.
Well, whenever I first came on, I did my research. You put me on game, and I saw two names, Cherry and Crowdy. You know what I'm saying? How valid is that research that I did there? Where these two men back in the late 19th century had visions that black people were Israelites, and so then they started the black Hebrew Israelite churches and things of that nature.
Then
I feel like those names never come up.
Yeah. Nah, they do, but like there's no lineage. There's no. Well, actually, now Crawley's church is still going.
Really?
Still going. Like,
Well, Cherry's the original guy. Why not Cherry?
one of the ancestors of Crawley, like his son or grandson or something like that, just died.
Just died?
Yeah, like probably like 5 years ago. Yeah, about 4 or 5 years ago. One of them died. I think he was the last, I guess, of the lineage from Crawley. And then they had another video on all of them.
Yeah. I'm interested in that guy one, what he's saying. Damn, I wish I was joking, but he is a narco saint. Who are you talking about, that guy one? Could you jump on and extrapolate on that?
Oh, I know who he's talking about. He's talking about Jesus Malverde, who was a notorious criminal in Mexico.
What is
And
Malverde?
Oh yeah,
mean?
they worship
like
the saint.
after the man died,
I know I saw a video on it.
He was made into a saint for drug dealers and other criminal types.
Oh, Jesus Malverde was like a kingpin.
Yes, he became a celebrated figure.
Oh.
A narco santo.
Is he dignified or is he deified?
He's seen in a positive light, but also people pray to him.
So he's a deified man.
Unofficially, yes, but
wow. News to me. News to me. I know.
I read about that stuff sometimes. There's a lot of weird stuff when it comes to the drug dealing culture of Mexico. It's called narco cultura, and what you get with it is you get all kinds of stuff from mainstream.
Santísima de la Muerta.
You get Santeria. You get Palo Mayombe. You get all kinds of things.
Right. I'm very familiar with that. Santa Muerta. I'm very familiar with that entity. Actually, whenever I was in training with the shaman, we had this Mexican man. They called him Papa Muerte, and he was a priest of Santa Muerta, and he would come in and buy kilos of white sage and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was really about it.
You know what's nuts about that is there's a whole system that they've developed for it, but it came out of literally nothing.
Oh, I'm very familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the
it's
thing
the female
is,
Grim Reaper. It's the feminine. It's the divine feminine energy of death.
And there's even a masculine version you find in South America called San de la Muerte.
Wow, that's basically the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I got a friend of mine has named Murte. It's dope. I send y'all guys the link to it. So you got
hey, Lil Murder, I would say that Ifa is the original spiritual religion that all that comes from, for sure.
Yep, Apollo is from the Congo.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys saw those videos I did on Apollo. Like, I was just blown away by the writing.
Oh, I did. I saw that, and when I was along with Judah, I used to find that a little strange, but I didn't care very much because if you want to study that, be my guest. But the funny thing is, the guy that kind of ruined it for me was have you ever heard of Adolfo Constanzo de Jesus?
Is that to do with everybody that was associated with the drug cartel?
Yeah, that's the dude. He's the one that killed an American tourist and ended up getting his dookie pushed in.
Oh.
He got shot by one of his followers. Yeah, because the police were closing in.
Yep. And they found all the Nagangas and shit.
Yeah, the guy was doing something very weird. He was combining Palo Mayombe with darker stuff.
Yeah. There was a big drug dealer out here. They raided his house, his mother's house. They found like $5 million in the walls, and he had a room that was like dedicated to black magic and shit. Had a big like pentagram in the middle. It was all black and shit.
That's right, Little Murder. The Yoruba tribe of northwestern Nigeria.
Yep.
That's where the shamans of that culture are the ones that named the Orisha for sure.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic, but maybe one of these days I'll get into it. But I definitely I'm gonna call it a night, so I'll see you guys later. Shalom.
Okay, Negi. See you
Take
later,
care.
buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I do gotta cut a bunch of trees in the morning. But this has been thrilling, man. This has been a great episode. Little Murder and P and that guy won. Y'all know y'all made this excellent. And thank y'all for y'all's questions and comments and I hope y'all learned from me and I can say without a doubt I've learned from y'all as well. Oh, looks like Killer B's not even on. I'll wait for him and we'll close this thing out the right way. Any closing questions, comments, concerns, anybody?
Negi bounce.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Where Negi went?
He called it a night.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks, Negi, for coming on. So appreciate it. Oh, Bobby Hemmett. I was gonna do a show the other day and shit and play some Bobby Hemmett stuff. Damn,
Thank
Bobby,
you, P.
you
Appreciate that.
video?
But yeah, man, I gotta cut down. I gotta do some exclusive tree work. I'm actually gonna make a video, so y'all come check my channel out. Please subscribe, like, share, comment. You know, even send me an email if you got some questions you don't want to put out there, and let me know who you are, so I can give you some privileges. I ain't being like, yeah, that'll be $20, you know. So let me know who you are and where I met you at, and yeah, if you want to close this thing out the right way, Killer B, I do got to get some sleep myself, but whenever you was off, I just thanked everyone. I hope I hope that we all learned something from each other. I can definitely say that from everyone, absolutely everyone involved, I've learned something. And thank y'all for making this such a great episode on Killer B, the Witch Finder General.
As slow. It's kind of slow. Like everybody, you know what I mean? The viewers and stuff was interacting with us, so that was good. That was good.
Yeah, man, it was great. Y'all made it great. Even you, that guy, won with your Mexican Jesus.
Shout out. Thank you, P, for holding the chat down.
Oh, P's great. You're always
Little Murder,
a pleasure.
Rudy was in here. Who else was in here? Who else in here? I know P probably got one. Oh, Buffer.
Little Murder. Let me say something real quick. Little Murder. Next time you on, get you some better internet, homie. I'd love for you to jump on.
Yep. Oh yeah, Chris Harris is up on the floor.
Oh yeah, and Rudy.
Yeah,
Rudy
thank you,
said some
Cyrus.
cool stuff too, actually. Yep. Everybody made it great.
Yep. Yeah. So
all right,
I don't know. I was gonna go on again because I supposed to stay up and shit tonight. I don't think that shit.
You staying up tonight?
Yeah, I'm out because I go to sleep. I ain't gonna wake up. I ain't gonna wake up.
What's your schedule looking like? What you got to do?
I don't know. Fucking somebody supposed to come and drop some shit off, stuff about the sign. Shit like 7 o'clock. So I'm like, I go to sleep. I'm gonna be asleep. I can ignore that phone and everything.
Yeah.
Like I ain't hear that shit. Yeah, so I'm gonna stay the fuck up. I did last night. Well, I stayed up like last night.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
Yeah,
don't know.
I definitely it's a safety issue for me, man, because I got a lift, I got chainsaws, I got big scary trees, I gotta do rigging with ropes, shackles.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here, man. But again, it's been a pleasure.
yep. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It was a great show.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Good night.
Yourself with that.
Yeah, man. And yeah, and
Good night.
I'll make some videos too.
Yep. And that's what ended up being on the film, on the picture. That mysterious, translucent person that looks kind of like a Native American. Chill out, little bird. Get your ass on that Israelite shit. You knew what I was getting at too. That shit was funny. 550 shit was on. I'm out. Peace. All right, man. Yep. He put Siberius channel in there. You guys can go check out his channel. Yeah, we got some information out today. Yeah, this was a good one. You guys got that book too. These guys get both the ebooks. Check the links in the chat. I put the animals talk. It's not like a PDF. You gotta like read it from the site. It's all like small and weird and shit. That's the only one I could find that was complete. And then the new book that I found before, they had all that Gina Nazareth bullshit up there. Oh, he's out. All right, I'll shut the fuck up. So, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out of here.
cronies, my homies, know where I come from, y'all. Hit the earth like them dum-dum. Y'all up the sun with it, don't burn, man. And he headed next burn, man. Gotta shift these many burns. Work hard to earn. Then you learn. You not a slave to chitlins. Mailman wanting to play teachers. Understand they originally got the movie. Gotta be on the stroll, man. I need more disguise to trace the soul, man. But they say it's music all, man. Break the mind like a ball, man. My mind, like a cylinder like column. Y'all said he had the precious like column. Music they got him. Lyrically it's forms and jot him. Awesome. Ass that dead. Even much you freaking, you go freaking. Like your restriction of speaking. The whole family bloody up and leaking. Seen it. Like I'm speaking my head. Smoking. In his head. I hold you to be from the bed. I think on the next bed. Lay the speech out like a spread. Yo, John from the head. Yeah.
Good. Good.
Their easy payment plan, $19.75 a month. You just put $20 on your credit card to send it to come your way. The Queen, not for $169, but $89, or $22.25 a month with a credit card.
My TV tripping. And what the hell's wrong with my power button? Oh, the batteries. My brother must have took them out or something. I need to go to sleep, and if I go now, I'll only get an hour of it. Fuck it. I'll just get up and turn it off. Okay, now the colors. Let's put some sheep and fall asleep.